Welcome to the first episode of On the Table's Top, Season 2. I'm Arthur Perkins. This is APGamingReal. I'm joined by 4 real-life artists who are better at drawing than me, which is not a high bar to set. They are here to make art for you. Every week, we'll rotate who is making the art as we play through a D&D campaign continuously. This is a slight change from the previous season where the artists would change every week and the game would change. We will continuously be playing this campaign for a while. We'll see. We'll see how long it goes. They might get frustrated when they die a few times. We'll find out. Our artist tonight, Connor, you're our artist?
Hey everybody, I'm Conor Hughes. I also stream on Twitch at Conor Hughes. I make comic pages, I make comic art. We have a comic called White Ash that's on Kickstarter. We're on the 4th one right now. Yeah, come check me out. I normally stream, previous to this year, I was streaming every day, 5 days a week, twice a day. But recently, because I've been taking care of my baby, last little bit, my schedule has been changing up a little bit. I'll be back soon.
The baby just looks like Connor.
Oh, excuse me. All right, so let's get the next person.
To sleep already, Connor.
yeah, that's my charisma.
Mick, why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Hi, I'm Mick McComicer is my handle on Twitch. I also have a comic on Kickstarter called Rovers. I stream also somewhat Monday through Friday, usually just once a day. But I'm not actually working on Rovers right now. While I'm waiting for it to be colored, I'm working on a Sleepy Hollow inspired horror comic, and I'll be on Twitch tomorrow around noonish Central Standard Time.
Okay, excellent. Bearded Jalapeno, what do you got going on?
What's up, guys? My name's Ricardo Lima, also known as Bearded Jalapeno on Twitch and all your social medias. I unfortunately do not have a comic on Kickstarter yet.
Join the club.
But we'll be part of the club hopefully this year. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys are having a great day.
Excellent. Planet Chaos, you are also streaming the show at the same time. Rather than showing the art in as big of a thing as we can, you're showing the players and also the battle area, correct?
Yeah, I'll be switching back and forth between the live drawing and the battle map, but I'll be on the battle map as much as possible. Excellent,
because I can already see on my stream these camera qualities are absolute trash. Complete garbage.
Okay.
The worst you could possibly get. Wow, did I not get this? Are you at Planet Chaos or Planet Chaos_art? Is that your Twitch?
It's my Twitch is Planet Chaos_art.
Yeah. All right, let me get the real link.
Chaos is with a K. Instagram, it's the same moniker. And I draw right now. I draw D&D creatures. I'll draw game bosses. So I'm just drawing for enjoyment, but I do commissions online and I'll Twitch your commissions live on stream, so it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun, and that's me.
So let me make sure I have this plugged in right. And I'm there now. Guys, we have some characters here that we need to discuss, but let me start by saying, well, normally I'd say something like, this is a D&D 5e game. I should start at the beginning of the stream and explain to you why it's different from all the other campaigns, but I'm pretty sure the giant art thing kind of already gave that one away. But we need to talk about these wonderful characters that you guys have created. I think some of you guys have changed a few minor details around, but they're more or less the same as the playtest. We'll go in whatever order you guys want to go with. Who wants to talk about who they are first?
Connor.
I'll go first.
Connor first, really?
All right,
All right.
jump on in, whoever.
My character's name is Runa. She is a female Earth Ganassi monk. She was, I don't know how much I want to give away, but she's definitely not the most charismatic one in the group, I could tell you that.
Don't worry, Bearded. I've got your character sheet up on my screen so everyone can see everything.
Nice.
Yeah, no secrets here.
backstory.
Yeah, I'm kidding, of course.
But yeah.
Cool. My character's name is Kazdor White Knuckle. He's a dwarf fighter, former security specialist in the mines, and now he's gone out and he's out to make his fortune above ground.
Nick?
My character is Mortrick Egan Haddlespar, a recent graduate of the Belham Ukatug Bard School. I'm on the travel, trying to stay just ahead of my student loan creditors and hoping to find a way to pay it all off.
That's still too real.
We've now established. Look, here's the thing. In lore, we've established that student loan creditors exist in this world. And that's, I mean, that's what you know.
That'll be fun. All right, so my character is Rick Jax. He is a deep gnome rogue, and he's one of the survivors of the devastation of Blingden Stone at the hands of the deep drow, or just the drow. So forced to the surface.
That sounds pretty dramatic compared to everybody else. That's real bad.
I've been working on
I
it.
feel like I'm underselling your premise. I apologize.
No, it's good. It's good. I like this one. You know, sometimes there's this thing where D&D people, especially people who are new to the game, when they show up to talk about their character in character, when they first meet everybody else, they're like, "This is my backstory. Let me tell you about the most horrendous tragedy that ever happened to me." And I'm like, is that the first thing you say when you meet people in real life? Like, let me tell you about the time I failed a class in 5th grade and had to go to summer school.
That's the most tragic.
Yeah, I gotta say, if that's the most tragic thing. Yeah.
It's pretty rough. It's pretty rough.
I was held back 1 grade.
Of everything I've heard tonight.
I confess. And you know what's coming next.
All right. So, any questions about what we're about to do here before we get started?
What game are we playing?
Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition.
Oh, okay, cool.
You got your rule book and your character sheet, right? That's really all you need.
For sure.
I mean, more or less, I'll tell you what dice to roll, and if you're using Roll20 at its maximum capacity, you can just hit buttons and it'll do all the dice rolling for you.
I had one quick question.
Mm-hmm.
You know the initiative dice roll button? That one doesn't seem to work. How's that one work?
All right, so in order for that to work, I have to pop initiative out like this.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yep. Let me clear that.
Popping it out like that.
Yeah, you know, you just gotta pop it out and
Did
stuff.
you just do that on camera?
Ooh, what?
Pop it out. Wait a second.
Pop it out on camera?
Yeah, I popped it on camera.
Oh. All right.
One time I pulled my sack out on camera. My dice sack, that
Dice
is.
sack?
Yeah.
Yeah, you better. Yeah, you get us all banned in one try.
I thought you'd like that one. So let's talk about the premise. If you disagree with anything I'm about to say, let me know. But this game starts with a once upon a time. There was a terrible dark lord, a demonic figure of incredible power who went throughout the land, blighting the wise, corrupting the pure, and striking down the just. In order to stop this terrible figure from unleashing its wretched plans upon the world, the 5 metallic dragon gods gave their lives to empower 5 heroes with a seal. After questing across the land, defeating the generals of the Dark Lord, these heroes placed upon the Dark Lord their seals and forever locked him away in a prison. But even eternity cannot hold back corruption. And thus, the 5 heroes passed their seals on to their descendants. One of the descendants kept track of the others and formed the Fellowship of Saint Mercia Ravenaver, also known as the Fellowship of Finding. Our heroes, or should I say apprentice heroes, are but journeyman members today, seeking to join the Fellowship of Finding. They are hot on the trail of the first artifact, Dunslow's Ocarina of Fascination. They have been sent by their patron, the wizard Mardrovian, to Apple Valley, where it has been said in a short prophecy given by a cleric that one might find a snippet of information about where to find Dunslow's Ocarina of Fascination. And so our four heroes, their cart, and their horse Winslow all crest over the last mountain pass to Apple Valley, a beautiful land filled with apple trees in every direction, in full bloom. As you make your way over the hill, Dunslow stops and snickers at a nearby apple tree, and a man comes out from behind the tree, weathered, tanned, healthy, with a glow about him, and says, "Ha ha! Travelers, welcome! The name is Roderick. Are you passing through Apple Valley, or have you come for a short stay?"
Come for a short stay. Pleasure to meet you.
So he reaches up and plucks an apple from the tree and holds it out to your horse Winslow and says, "Can I offer you a drink? Some strong cider, perhaps, or just juice?"
Just juice will be fine.
So he pulls out a flask. It's shaped like a wine flask, but when you smell it, it's clearly not but apple juice.
It's quite the apple juice. And I pass it to any one of my comrades.
I'll take a swig. Take a swig.
Connor, are you muted?
Yeah, Connor's muted.
I see him
yeah.
talking.
I had some noises in the background. Sorry.
Okay.
It's because Connor doesn't know how the internet works.
I was saying, you sure you don't have anything stronger in the back? We've been on the road for quite a bit.
Well, if you're looking for something strong, might I suggest you head into town. There's an inn on the north side, the Broken Thorn. You might be able to find a good mug there, but the innkeeper is known to be something of a teetotaler.
That means he doesn't drink.
I mean, she doesn't drink, but yes.
She doesn't drink.
There's a question. What are we actually seeing being drawn right now, Connor?
I'm drawing another dwarf. I've been sort of working around my character for a bit here.
Yeah, you're working on Kazdor, right?
Yes, we're working on Kazdor. So I've just been going through a bunch of different versions, doing some warm-up sketches, and yeah.
All right. Let me ask now that we have all of you gathered around your wagon, taking a break after your long travels to Apple Valley. What do you look like? Now, I know we have some art, but I want to hear from your words. What do each of your characters look like?
So Runa she's very half-orc featured. She was a half-orc before she became a Ganassi, so she was in a tribe and wandered off from her city and was trapped in a ravine and was infused with these arcane energies and became an Earth Ganassi that way. So she's very half-orc featured, but her skin is like a darkish blue, almost dark brown. She's very thinly featured, although she has good musculature, but very thin in frame.
Okay, I'll go. So Rick Jax is a deep gnome. He wears leather armor, carries a rapier and a matching dagger. He keeps himself cloaked up, mostly because he's still rather light sensitive. So he tends to kick back behind everyone else, hang back a little bit.
Mortrick is a little too tall, a little too thin. His nose is a little too pointy. He wears, just pretty common clothes, but I do have my Letterman's cloak that I got from placing 5th in state on fencing, and I like to keep it clean and immaculate. I'm constantly, brushing stuff off and never pass up an opportunity to lint roll it.
Cazador's a little weather worn. He's sort of seeing better days. He's got his age. He shows his age from traveling and from having had quite a bit of combat experience. But his armor is sort of holy. It's kind of rusty. It's a little bit unkempt. And he's looking pretty tired from this trip.
Excellent. So I should note, for many of you, the dwarven lifestyle, or at the very least the underground lifestyle, is no stranger. You either have lived that life or are aware of those that have. And to you, this is not just a dwarf that you look upon, but on the eastern wall that calls this place Shadow Valley, the mountain here has a dwarven figure up top it. But this is no mere regular dwarf warrior. This is an ancient dwarf lord in resplendent full plate with sigils and runes carved across his body, holding aloft his axe of office, his horned helm reaching towards the heavens. You have not heard, perhaps, of who this lord is, but you do know that there must be significant treasure there, for dwarves are rarely buried away from their gold.
And who might our ancestor be, high up on that mountain?
So Rorik turns and says, your ancestor, huh? We have no idea. We call it the Tomb of the Unknown King.
Unknown? Where's your lore books?
Lore books, you say? I think I had someone read a book to me once.
Like, you guys don't have, like, a lending library or anything around here?
A lending library? You sound as if you were from the south. No. These are the lands of Baron Snarlblast. We have no libraries around here. We'll find a good storyteller passing through once in a while.
In my holds, we would keep great tomes of all the deeds of yesteryears, and it would certainly be a shame on anyone to have lost any of those tomes.
So he plucks an apple and walks forward and passes it down to you and puts a hand on your shoulder and says, "Friend, we are not in your hold. Welcome to Apple Valley. We will sing many songs. Perhaps your passing through here might be remembered in one, should you do anything significant, although I'd advise you to not cause trouble."
Hey, we're not here for trouble.
That's good to hear.
To the inn, then.
Yes, let's make it quick.
Before you go, can I ask, why are you boys here?
Why are we here?
I kind of forgot, actually.
You have been sent by your patron, the wizard, Mardrovian, in order to find more information about Dunslow's Ocarina of Fascination.
All right, I need to
It's
write
one of the
some
5 seal artifacts.
Mardrovian.
Yeah, so let me ask real quick. I kind of know the answer to this question, but what is y'all's experience with Dungeons and Dragons?
Right, so I haven't really played any kind of Dungeons & Dragons before. This is sort of my first time. I've always been wanting to play. I've played a little bit, like, very informally with some friends, but nothing like this, certainly. And so, yeah, this is my first time.
This is probably my, 10th or 12th game, somewhere in there. Like, I've played more than once. I just, foolishly was not taking notes while you were dropping all this information.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
Such a fool.
I have a suggestion before we continue with that. Someone should probably make a Google Doc that you all like give everybody editing privileges and take notes and store equipment there. And that way, not everybody has to be paying attention all the time. Like, sometimes you guys hear the word Mardrovian and you're like, oh, what is that, like French? And someone else is probably like, no, wait, that's that guy we know. Write that down.
Yeah, I'm writing some stuff down in my notebook, but
Good plan.
Yeah, I feel
Plus,
like
if you're drawing at the same time, sometimes it's hard to like take in all that.
Exactly. That's why I feel like having a communal notes thing would be good. Now, I rudely interrupted. The rest of you, D&D experience.
For me, I played a lot when I was younger, but I haven't played a group session like this in decades, so definitely out of practice.
But I've played quite a few games. I'm actually in about 3 games right now, not including this one. So
That's impressive. They're not easy to maintain.
they're not. Luckily, it's all a bunch of the same friends. So once somebody's like done DMing or needs a break, we'll step in and do another game. So
Yeah, that sounds like insanity.
it works. we meet every week.
So, it should be noted that the first arc of this game will be called Shadow over Apple Valley. And as you travel down into Apple Valley, we see the sun pass behind the tomb of the unknown king, this dwarven lord, and cast a shadow down over the town. And that's when some really ominous theme music starts playing in order to indicate, like, whoa, and then the Shadow over Apple Valley logo comes over the TV screen, and we know, like, oh, this is the first episode.
Excellent.
And a loading screen.
Yeah, loading screen.
This is my favorite part.
Yeah. It's like there's a montage of us all walking down like this misty valley into the town.
So,
Is that the ominous music?
yeah,
Yes.
it shouldn't be super ominous, just like lightly ominous.
It's not like
medium ominous.
lightning cracking and like Transylvania type ominous.
Yeah, exactly. We have that. We have that on storage. So I'm using
that's
music
later.
from Drummer Boy and Tabletop Audio.
We don't want to roll initiative right now, guys.
Baron
You can't go
Strahd shows up.
straight into the high tones. You gotta sort of ease the viewers into the situation. You gotta save that for like when the Balrog comes out.
You travel between the twin rivers that surround the Apple Valley. Small bridges have been set up. The houses are few and far between, but there are many people living in each one, and it seems as if hundreds, if not thousands of people live in this peaceful small valley cut off from the rest of the world by the mountains that surround it. Many reach out a hand towards you in fellowship and welcome, but few approach you as you travel towards the center of town. As you reach the town, you immediately find the inn, one of the few standing structures that are permanently set in what might generously be called a central area. A sign labeling it as the Broken Thorn certainly exists, but whether it's an actual inn or something far less, it's hard to say. There's a single stone wall that appears to have been salvaged from a fire somewhere. The damage to it is readily apparent, but the rest of the building is a wooden shack, using the hearth and the stone wall as a fortress. The wood, much newer than the stone, is still in terrible condition.
Does it look like a maintenance thing? Like, do they just not keep things up around here?
This building does seem to be in much worse shape than the other buildings around it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna turn to Rorik.
So Rorik stayed at the field in order to keep the apple harvest. You've traveled without Rorik.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna hop down off the wagon and just barge right into the inn, which I'm going to say with air quotes.
You barge into the inn. There are a half dozen occupants inside. Some seem local, others are definitely travelers like yourselves, but the innkeeper is readily apparent as she immediately turns towards you and shakes a lantern and says, "What are you doing, kicking open my door?"
I like to make an entrance. It's the first lesson you learn in bard school.
You sound like a bard. Of course you're a bard.
I take offense at that. You look like an innkeeper.
Well, I am an innkeeper. The name is Aries.
Well, then we both know who each other are. Anyway,
I have no idea who you are. You haven't introduced me.
I'm a bard. You're an innkeeper, correct? Is this the inn you keep?
It is my inn, and I don't keep insolent fools.
All right, listen. We may have gotten off on the wrong foot due to your misunderstanding. So I'm gonna back up, and I'm gonna try this again. I am.
Let me cut in just for a sec. So, being the rogue that I am, I'm gonna hang out outside the door, just kind of keep an eye out, make sure nothing, suspicious is going on outside, since the town is new to us and we're new to the town.
Of course. I should say, Mortrick, that you have attracted the attention of everyone in this inn.
All right, so I'm gonna pull out. How much do I have? I'm gonna pull out a single gold piece and be like, I'm a bard, and I'm looking for a couple of rooms to stay in. Maybe up to 4?
There are no rooms here to have to offer. You can take a blanket and a pillow by the hearth. And she gestures towards the hearth where there are about a dozen blankets and pillows that are scattered haphazardly. Several of them appear to be occupied because they have packages set next to them. If you're looking for a better room, I suggest you find another inn somewhere else outside of Apple Valley.
That won't be necessary, Aries. Thank you very much. I apologize for our bard here. He's obnoxious, and we also find the same complaints you might find against him.
Well, that's good, because now there's 2 bards in town, and that's twice as many bards as I don't like to have.
There's another bard here? What school are they from? Do you know? Where's he at? Can I talk to? I don't know if I want to talk to him.
When you say that, in the corner, there was an individual who had their boots up on the table rather rudely. And when you ask if there's another bard, he picks up a steel string guitar sitting next to him and plucks a chord.
Guitar bards are the worst.
Twice.
So you hear from him, he coughs and says, "What type of bard are you?"
I am a beat bard.
Are you one of those vocalists that does like the like singing with your mouth, making music?
If I may. Apple Valley, set between 2 rivers, flowing, still, quiet.
I can't believe that they considered you an artist. How did you graduate, son?
It was a pretty small local school. They got to keep the numbers up, so they just kind of push us through. But where'd you go to school at?
Well, I'm from the Badlands up north, and I went to the School of Hard Knocks.
Ooh, that sounds pricey.
Not really, it's a local establishment, but you get a good education there. So the innkeep will take your gold piece out of your hand and look at it and then bite into it and say, "This is enough for 4 of you. 1 night with meals.
What?
1 mug apiece."
One mug?
What is the meal? Hold on.
Pottage and dwarven beer.
All right. I'm gonna turn to my compatriots. They're like, okay, fine, whatever. I'll spring for tonight, but I'm not paying for another night of this. That's on you guys.
I'll stay with the cart and try to figure out a place to keep it for the night, because I'm assuming she's not going to let me just park it right in front of the inn.
When you say that, she's just like, "No! You can leave the cart out there."
Wait, we can leave the cart out there?
Yes. I like it when people leave carts out there. It makes it look like I have business.
But will our cart still be there in the morning?
This is Shadow Valley, or this is Apple Valley. You think people are going to steal things here?
You just stole a gold piece from me for 2 blankets and a mug.
It's 4 blankets and 4 mugs, and I didn't steal it. You asked for a room. Well, I made room for you.
A room?
Do you want your gold piece back? She licks it and then starts handing it to you.
Hand.
All right, it's covered in her spit. It's disgusting.
I'm gonna immediately drop it on the ground and like step on it, try to wipe it off on the dirt.
Well, that shows how much you think of me.
And I'm gonna fish out a copper piece. Be like, here, 4 blankets, 4 mugs.
For a copper piece?
Have
No
you
way.
seen the state of this place? I just know those blankets are infested with lice.
No, gold piece or nothing. You can leave.
I'll go up behind Mortrick and just put a gold piece in her hand. We thank you for your hospitality.
See, why can't you be more polite like that?
And then I'll bend down to Mortrick and be like, she said 1 cup, not how much beer we can put inside of it.
All right, but she's never gonna learn this way.
We'll make her learn.
All right. Once I have the gold piece sufficiently scrubbed off in the dirt, I'm gonna pick it up, put it back in my purse, and just give her the hairiest of hairy eyeballs.
All right. So there was a question as to how much gold you guys have. So each of your backgrounds, when you made your character, your background should tell you how much money you got in addition to your equipment.
Yeah. I think I have.
So some of you will be rich, and some of you, according
As
to
a
your
monk, I will not be rich.
yes, the outcast probably will not have very much money.
Yeah. Is it under equipment?
It's under your background. It will tell you what amount of money you got.
Gotcha.
So, for instance, entertainers start with 15 gold pieces.
Minus 1 gold piece.
Minus 1 gold piece.
What do rogues typically start with?
So it's not what class you are; it's what background you chose.
Yep.
So let's
I've
see
got
here.
15 gold. Does that sound like it was typed in, or does that
Yes,
sound like
that is correct. Most of the packages start with 15 gold,
Yeah, okay.
and then like some minor things like a musical instrument or a ring or something like that. Yeah, so I mean, Cazador's kind of rich because he's got those artisan tools, I believe, which you can sell for quite a bit of money.
Yeah, he's got experience building, basically defenses. So that's why he has those tools. Are you sure? I'm trying to find where his money would be. And,
It's 15 gold pieces, but
under inventory at the top of the page?
yeah.
Character sheet.
So all of you have settled into this inn to some extent, except I believe Rick Jax, who's keeping an eye on outside.
Yeah, I'm thinking if we're leaving our cart and our supplies outside, I'm going to be staying outside.
Now, Rick Jax, you have been inducted into this hallowed, ancient organization known as the Thieves Guild, or at the very least, you speak the language. And to you, this town reeks not of a happy valley, but of fear. When people turn to look at you, they seem nervous. Even the merchants who are trying to offload their wares nearby in the centerpiece of town all seem eager to pass through as quickly as possible. The people there are settling for any price in order to get them to leave.
How close are we to sunset?
Several hours at the very least.
Okay. I will I'll take the hood of my robe off. Not my robe, but my cloak. And I think I'm going to go walk around the town while these guys are preparing the room and getting drunk and just kind of get a lay of the land.
Not that drunk on one mug of beer.
One
Not unless
cup.
they're really lightweight.
1 mug, not the fluid ounces.
They have beer in pints?
You know it came in
I
pockets.
gotta get one.
What are you looking for, Rick Jax, as you wander about?
I have this habit of just kind of overhearing people talk, because when you can hear gossip, you kind of learn some things about towns and cities and stuff. Usually I can find out what might be the biggest concern for the town that way. So I will just explore, walk around, keeping an eye out.
Make a investigation check real quick.
skills. I think that's my strong point too. Let me see. No, but anyway, okay. Investigation. Here we go.
First roll of the game, no big deal. 17, acceptable, acceptable, kind of high. Some would say very good.
Someone would say ka-ching.
Yeah, exactly. As you pass through the town, you overhear various things from the merchants, and you quickly come to accept that someone named the Lady Gale in the northern Badlands has been accepting bribes from adventurers for exceptions to local laws and favors. It is on the lips of every merchant, and small bits of coin are passing as they bring the news to the locals. The locals, for their part, are extremely close-lipped. Many are excited about the upcoming apple harvest, but it quickly becomes apparent to you that despite the large number of people living in this valley, there are few young adults. There are children that you see scattered about, taking lessons from various artisans or really anyone that they can apprentice themselves to. And there are many who you would consider in the middle-aged or even into the elderly stages of life. But there are few and far between young adults, and those that you do see have dark circles under their eyes and shun away from you, avoiding you at any cost. Ducking into buildings, disappearing behind hay.
Understood.
It is uncomfortable.
And they seem most uncomfortable when they're actually looking at me.
Indeed.
Is that correct? Okay. All right, so recap. I'm hearing that Lady Gale is accepting brides from adventurers,
Yes.
but I don't know the why of that yet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Apple harvest, and then the few adults. Okay. Is there anyone around that I can see that perhaps I might be able to identify as local thief folk?
There are not many here whom you would identify as thieves folk.
Okay.
But you do pass by a provisioner's, like a general store, where
Okay.
outside you hear the owner arguing with someone over poisons. And when he sees you, he makes a quick motion with his hand. That's a very obvious Thieves Guild greeting.
Understood. All right, so I'm gonna walk into his store and wait until he's done with his argument and wait for him to come back in.
The argument lasts for several more minutes. It's hard to tell as it seems to be broaching several languages and many obscenities, several of which are incredibly creative that you might not have heard of before. When the man walks in, old and weathered, with a mustache dripping down on his face, he says, "Ah, I knew when I saw you. Thief, right? You seem the type to come around here."
I don't really think of myself as a thief, but I managed to get by. I'm a survivor.
Sure, sure. Well, you speak the language at least. I'm not one myself, but I do business with the like. You smoke?
I will try some smoke. What do you
Yeah,
have?
so we call it the Two Rivers leaf around here. We infuse it with a little bit of apple peel.
All
so-
right, sounds good. I'll take my pipe out.
Yeah, he takes his pipe out, and, you know, he fills some in there and then lights you off of his, and he's just like, "So, well, if you heard that argument outside, you know that we don't have any poisons available. You won't be able to get something like that around here. And I don't have any jobs for you. Nothing of that type ever happens in Apple Valley."
You know, that's too bad because I was actually looking for new poisons. It's something that I tend to collect. I like to use it with my hand crossbow. Why don't you have poisons? Have they been purchased by someone else?
The High Prince apparently put out a decree. Baron Snarlblast will be upset, but it's not like he's going to come down here himself and make us make poisons. People crush up the apple seeds around here. turn it into a good fertilizer, but if done poorly, it can turn into a poison. We need poisons like that in order to act as pesticides. Powdered lead, arsenic. It's going to be a tough farm this year without those poisons.
All right. I'm actually going to write that down because eventually my character is going to be making poisons and stuff. Okay. So I'm going to ask him, and I'm not much of a role player, guys. I'm sorry. I can't.
Don't worry about it. We got time to settle in here.
So I want to ask him, where's the rest of the folk who are like me? Where's the rest of the guild? I haven't seen them, and I've noticed that you're missing a lot of your adults in this town.
So he looks over you, and it's clear he's about to make a joke about your race and says, I don't know anybody that's like you. If you mean thieves, it's not that kind of place around here. Nobody to steal from, if you get my meaning. That's more city work. We don't put locks on doors around here, so nothing to break into anyway. And it's not like we keep barrels of gold underneath the harvest.
Understood. What about your adults?
That's a sad story. You sure you want to hear it? Once you do, you might not be able to leave town. You seem like adventure folk. I'd hate for you to get caught up in our problems.
I would be interested in hearing your story because my friends and I tend to look into problems like this if there are problems in the land.
So he takes a deep puff and gestures to two huge padded leather seats nearby. And then he snaps his fingers and the hearth lights.
Nice trick.
I learned a little bit of magic in my younger years. Some call me a sorcerer. Never got very far with it, but who knows what you could do sometimes. Lets me live a comfortable life at the very least. Now, about that story, and as he says that, we fade to black and cut back to the inn.
Okay, perfection.
So I've been spending my time looking around the inn, trying to identify any dwarves, and if I do find any, I would ask them.
There is a dwarf, as a matter of fact. There is a dwarven woman. She's a soldier with a long face, almost like a horse. It definitely looks like someone has broken her nose several times. With auburn hair and blue eyes. But she has a very generous mace. Massive. With like, it looks like someone built a bastion onto the mace. There's like flying buttresses. It's like 8-pointed. The thing is ridiculous. You can't imagine that anyone would ever wield it in combat successfully.
Greetings.
Greetings.
That's a lovely mace you have there, ma'am.
I'm gonna elbow him in the side, and I was like, "That was a great one." That's.
Is this the first time you've ever met a woman?
Ooh, say no. Say no. It's a trap. Say no.
It's been a little while above ground here.
Well, that's obvious. No, you're doing great. You're doing great.
Might I ask your clan?
White
The
Knuckle.
answer to this one.
The White Knuckles.
It's from the White Knuckle clan.
Haven't seen one of those in a while. I'm Orin of Clan Calendar.
Oh, Calendar. Okay, I know. I've heard of you guys from the under networks.
We make maces.
Could have used
Compliment your honor, mace again.
Does your friend know that I can hear him, right?
Oh, you guys hear that well? I just assumed, like, underground. You know what? Just pretend I'm not here. It'd be fine.
I wish I could.
We're already trying. Don't worry.
I get that a lot. I don't know why.
Well, it's probably because of the way you walked in the front door.
Could be. What does Clan Calendar get up to besides making maces? You're just a macy people.
Yes, we're a macy people. All of us are so attached to our maces. We've never left home without them.
I mean, that is a very substantial mace. I have seen some substantial maces before, and that is oof.
Well, it's a calendar mace.
Yeah, no, you're a calendar girl. Like, I could believe it.
I'm just gonna let that one pass. Is someone here your guardian, responsible for you? You seem like maybe you're the adventuring party mascot.
Don't mind Mortrim.
You should say that. Back in my school days, I wasn't the regular.
It's clear she's completely tuned you out at this point.
And I'm just gonna keep talking.
Don't mind Mortrick, my dear. I'm just coming to ask you about. Do you know anything about this Forgotten King?
The Forgotten King.
Very surprised to hear that no one in the town so far has known anything about it.
You mean the tomb of the unknown king up there on the mountainside?
That's right.
Aye, I know a bit about it. He's certainly not unknown to us, but his true name has been lost to history, but probably he was the lord that ruled over these lands. All of these lands were once dwarf lands. I've heard tales of him before. Some say that he was the greatest dwarven king who ever lived. That he was so wise and so strong that he could hold up even the sky itself, so that the gods could not fall upon the mortal races.
That would be impressive indeed, but it's a big claim to say that he's the greatest dwarven king ever to live.
Well, it does stretch the credulity somewhat, as we should remember his name were he actually that important.
That's true. But have you heard anything about the tomb itself?
I have seen it.
You've seen it?
The base, you can see the entrance from the bottom of the mountain.
Okay, you've never...
I have not climbed up there yet, nor do I have the time to. I set out in the morning.
Are you traveling?
I am indeed. I'm selling maces.
Maces.
I don't know why that surprises you.
I would think that you'd want to keep your dwarven secret.
Oh, I assure you, our secrets are a secret, brother. However, there is much need for arms in the human kingdoms. And this Baron, he arms well.
I'm surprised they can use such weighty maces.
Well, we've sized them for humans.
Only dwarves could wield.
We are selling him the maces that we would give to children.
Okay. Play maces. Okay.
Dwarves do not play. She like punches you in the shoulder when she says that. As in like, yeah, obviously we play, but you know. Ha!
Yeah.
When I see her punch him in the shoulder, I'm gonna give him 2 thumbs up.
Why is he holding up his thumbs?
Doing good. Kazdor blushes beneath his dirty, grimy face.
So she like leans in close so that Mortrick can't hear and says, "Does your friend need companionship? He seems very invested in this relationship." Constant companionship. There is a woman who came in here last night who seemed like a regular. You might throw him in her direction. To her detriment, of course.
We gotta throw him a bone, though. I can sympathize with that.
He seems like maybe he has a bone.
And where might she be?
Well, I only saw her last night when she came in with the regular crowd. It seems that many in the town come here for drink and food before heading out for the evening. She stayed behind, however, looking for companionship with several travelers here, getting drinks.
So Mortrick does have a chance, you're saying?
With enough drinks?
With enough drinks.
Jeez, it's a shame you're moving on in the morning.
With that being said, I'll come over with all the drinks like in my hand and kind of pass them out to everybody and be like, and I'll give my drink to the dwarven ladies. Be like, I hope my companions aren't giving you too much trouble.
No, indeed. We'll take this drink and accept it happily.
I'm gonna.
What might your name be?
Like, hey, back off! He's working this one. All right, don't crowd him.
Orin of Clan Kalimdor. Please ignore this dog over here. Apparently its name is Mortrick.
Yes, I most always ignore him.
So do you travel alone?
Well, I do have my mastiffs. You laugh, but they are actual mastiffs, not like this one.
Are they outside or are they in the inn?
Oh, there's no way I could keep them in the inn. Terrible beasts they are. Well trained, but thirsty and hungry constantly. You know how tunnel dogs are. No, they're outside with my wagon.
But I can't imagine you find much sustenance for them in these apple lands.
Well, it has been difficult to find enough meat to feed them regularly. They don't even have meat here tonight with their stew. Just oats and vegetables.
You really did come to a dry town.
It is difficult living outside the clan lands, but you have to go where the business takes you.
And has there been any demand for the maces here in this town? Because everyone seems pretty...
She starts laughing, and then some of the ale she was drinking comes out of her nose. She's breaking down in comedy at the thought that this town would be where she needs to sell weapons at. After a few moments to compose herself and pull out a handkerchief to wipe her face, she says, "Have you seen these people? Do you think any one of them would be trained enough to handle a weapon?"
I wasn't thinking that, but I mean, and yet you were here. Surely there was some other path where you might find.
Apple Valley is one of the few passes through the northern lands. I could have taken another path, but there are rumors of the goblins to the west. I didn't want to mess with them. You know how that can go. And they upset the dwarf's stomach, or they upset my dog's stomach, so.
Kazdor spits on the ground. Goblins.
She spits as well. Goblins.
I'm gonna spit on the ground too. What did we say? What's going on over here?
Goblins.
Goblins, yeah, those goblins. You know, we just ran into a pair of goblins. When I say pair, what I mean is a cave full of, like, there was a pair of caves. Was it just one cave? I don't know. And then I'm just gonna talk about our last adventure to no one in particular.
The guitar bard just comes over and like grabs you by the collar and drags you away from the rest of the party to the corner where he sits alone.
I'd be like, what? I was doing great over there. This is why you're failing as a bard and find yourself in whatever this place is.
I'm gathering stories around here, partner.
Are there any good stories?
I know many stories around here. Question is, do you know anything worth trading?
Wait, what? I'm sorry.
I said, do you know anything worth trading for a story for?
Well, I have this really great story about a pair of goblin caves. I have an okay story about the time that my bard school lost in an annual barding competition to our arch rivals. And I have kind of a lackluster story about a time I drank too much ale when I was young, and it was messy. And
I don't think I need that story in particular.
Okay. I mean, it's
although I might compose an ode to your failures as a human being, and that would feature prominently as the centerpiece.
You know, my dad told me when I went off to barding school, he said, "Son, you're never gonna make anything of yourself." And I like to think I've proven him wrong.
You did graduate, right?
I mean, I like to think that I'm on...
He just starts playing the guitar.
Oh, it's sabbatical.
Now look, you seem like a right proper fellow, and maybe you have some interesting stories to share, but none of it's got any inkling of the story that I have to share.
Is it a good story?
Well, some might call it the greatest story I've ever told. And then he strikes up a dramatic chord.
I'm instantly hooked.
It's very El Dorado-ish.
Then what happened?
Well, I'm in the mood for a better tale than the ones that Mortrick has been spinning these last few weeks.
Sorry. Are you and your group like coming over to listen to this tale now that he's pulled Mortrick away?
Yeah, I was sort of listening. I was listening out of the side of my ear and sort of saying, "Oh, what's going on over there?"
See, I'm gonna stage whisper to the bard. See, they talk shit on me all the time, and yet they follow me around. What am I supposed to do?
It is difficult being the leader of a party.
It is. It is nice to talk to someone who understands what I'm going through.
Now let me tell you.
Outside.
Sorry, what?
I'm actually outside petting the dogs.
All right. So it should be noted that these are dwarven tunnel dogs. They're all blind, but they have exceedingly good sense of smell and hearing. And when you get near them, they're like, "Rah!" But as soon as you get like within petting range, they smell your hand and then they lick it. And then all of them are like all over you.
Yes.
You're just like covered in massive Doberman style dogs that are completely blind.
Dogs.
Yeah, there's dogs everywhere. So Orin comes over with you to hear the tale from this bard. And before the bard's tale begins, we cut back over to Rick Jacks, where the guy's smoking on his pipe and he says, "Well, let me tell you, it has been a time recently. Something came out of that tomb up there on top of the mountain. We don't know what and we don't know when exactly, but it started taking people. Every night. One, maybe two. For weeks on end, they disappeared. We sent word to the Baron. After 2 weeks, the Baron's men arrived. The next day, we couldn't find them anywhere."
How many of the Baron's men?
They said almost a dozen showed up. We didn't hear screams. None of them returned. They just went up to the tomb and they didn't come back. We try to keep travelers from staying here too long. We don't want word to spread. But I don't think the Baron's sending any more men. We just hope that this taking ends soon. Sometimes they leave drag marks. Sometimes it's blood. But no one ever sees who's being taken.
And I'll ask this person, I don't think I ever caught his name, but does he have a map or anything up to the tomb?
So when you ask him for a map, he just like, "Come with me," and then like he like rises and leaves his pipe behind and just like points to the tomb at the side of the mountain. He's like, "If you're looking to climb up there, I happen to have the equipment available for sale here for a good price."
You mean there's no mountain passes heading up to the tomb?
So he gestures. It's like a sheer cliff up there.
Excellent.
There are no mountain passes up there. And like as you look, now that you know what you're looking for, you definitely see where like before you might have thought it might be like some dark patch. You can definitely see where there's like a blood stain of someone being like dragged up the side of the mountain, up a flat sheer face.
How big is this mountain? Like mountain or just kind of a cliff?
We're talking like 1,000 feet or so.
Okay.
Pretty decent.
Yeah.
All right.
It's no Kilimanjaro, but.
So how much? I'll ask the guy how much for 4 sets of the mountain climbing gear.
Let me look in this here book here that tells me what climbing gear costs. I think there's something called like a climber's kit, right? Climber's kit includes boot tips, gloves, harness, special pythons, blah blah blah, and it costs 25 gold pieces.
What? Okay.
That's per person?
Yes.
I'm a lowly level 1 rogue here, so.
So yeah, when he lists out the price, which is 100 gold, and he sees your face, he says, "Son, if you take these kits, then you solve our problem. I'll put credit on your account now, and you bring me the gold when you come back. I'll even let you sell the kits back to me for half price."
Okay. That'll be a deal.
All right.
So I'll grab the 4 kits. I'll give him.
So each of these kits weigh 12 pounds, by the way. So that you're picking up 50 pounds worth of gear.
Okay.
It's like a kettlebell.
I'm like a mighty no. Let me check my strength. Yeah, I've got 11 strength. Surely I can carry this.
Yeah. I mean, your carrying should be way more than that. Especially if you left your gear in the wagon and you're not carrying it around.
Yeah, I left the gear. My encumbrance is doing great right now. Okay.
You left a cloak.
Yeah. If I have to, I'll bag it in the cloak, throw the thing over my shoulder, and head back to the inn. I'll give him 5 gold for a deposit as well.
Okay. I mean, he'll take that.
Yeah.
You know what they say? 5 gold in the hand is worth 100 gold in the bush. I don't know if that's a thing that they say. Right. No, yeah. Like, now that I got it out there, I feel like maybe that's not a thing.
It was a good effort, but around here, it's a saying. Okay.
This town be weird like that.
All right, so I'm going to thank him for his time. I'll let my friends know, and we'll see. We'll at least do some scouting and kind of see what's going on. At the very least, we'll try to figure out what's taking the people, what's taking the townsfolk.
Okay. I mean, he seems. It wouldn't be relieved, right? Because you haven't solved the problem yet, but it looks like you've taken some burden off of him that has at least de-aged him several years. He takes a deep breath and just... You seem like someone who can get things done.
I hope so. I know we did well against the goblins, so we'll see what's up there.
Well, let's talk of goblins.
Yeah, me and my friends, we kind of took care of this rather large conclave of goblins. There must have been like 30 or 40 of them, and you know, we made our way through.
You want to make a deception check real quick? I mean, like 6 goblins and one like elk.
Deception is right here.
Super vicious.
I mean, so here's the thing.
Ouch.
I can tell based on the size of the die, whether it's 2 numbers or 1 based on how wide it is, and when it's only 1 wide, you definitely know that you probably failed that roll. So I knew as soon as I saw it, even if I didn't know the number, that it was not going to be enough. So he's just like, oh, 30 goblins, huh?
Yeah, well, you know. Spread the word. You know how it goes. And I'll give him the high sign for the high can't. Like, thank you, see you later.
All right, yeah. As you exit, we cut back to the inn where the bard is preparing his story. I use inn very generously. So I feel like this is around the time where Rickdrax comes in to the Broken Thorn hauling these 4 climbers kits on his back.
If those dogs are outside, I probably see him coming, and I'll help him.
All right, the 2 of you struggle the packs in. Not really struggle because you're way stronger. And the bard begins playing a little background tune, kind of like how Mortrick would make some beatboxing noise in order to do his spoken word verses. This guy is just like playing a little idle melody to back up his story, and says, now some of you might know that there's a problem around town. You look around and you see it in the faces of the people around here. So I got a question for y'all.
I'm gonna.
You can stop doing that. I don't know that our styles mesh like that.
I was really feeling the moment, man. We should jam sometime. Is that a thing?
We should jam. We can try it later. We can do some experimental stuff.
Yeah.
Have you heard of jazz?
No, I have not. But
they're doing big things with metallic instruments in the Badlands now. Something called a saxophone.
Can't wait.
Trumpet. Cannons. They're using cannons to make music. Now look, we're getting far aside from the story here. If any of you have any measure of observation in your eyes like I do, I know that you've seen the desperation in the faces of the people around here. You see the hollow eyes and the darkness that therein lies. So let me ask you, you feel like doing something about it?
And I'm there, right? Rick Jackson's
Yes,
there?
yeah.
Wait, is that an actual question?
That's a question for you, sir.
Oh, it was a question. Oh, I thought that was the bridge, maybe. I guess, yeah. Technically, that's why we're here.
Well,
I'm not happy about it, but...
now let me say something for you, good sir. You might be worthy of earning my song. All I need for you to do is just play along, because this town needs some adventurers strong. Now, if you look around, I'm sure you can see, are there young adults? Maybe 2 or 3.
Oh, doing good.
But the rest, where do they go? That's something that I don't know. But sometimes in the night I hear some shuffling. Been here just a week. It's kind of nervous when and he stops playing the guitar. When the sun goes down, I don't really know what's happening. I'm not a particularly strong man, you see. My magic's mostly of the mind. I don't carry a sword and I don't have a crossbow. But it looks like you folks are well equipped to handle some investigation. Now I have a song that maybe you want to hear. It's about a flute. And the man who owns it, a Grand Vizier. When he plays this flute, others follow his command. And it starts to occur to you all that this might be a rumor about the Ocarina of Fascination that you've been sent to find.
Mm-hmm.
If you can solve the shadow cast upon this land, my story you'll find in hand. How's that for a deal, my friends? And then he dramatically... One of his guitar strings snaps in the process. He's like, oh, shoot. I was trying to do a good ending on that one, and it always happens.
Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that? That was amazing. Did you guys hear that?
Yes.
That was amazing, and that does sound like a fair deal. He, Castador, like, makes a big slap on his hand, says that sounds like a deal.
We didn't get these climbing kits for nothing, I guess.
Yeah, so Rick Jacks will kind of let these guys know that based on what he's learned, it's kind of syncing up with this guy's story. So I suggest we either wait at night to see if something comes down the mountain, or maybe we need to get up that mountain before sun sets.
And how close is it to sunset now?
Now, the sun is starting to creep behind the mountain, which doesn't necessarily mean it'll be sunset specifically, right? Because there's a mountain here. When the sun goes behind it, sunset won't happen for a while. But people are starting to filter into the Broken Thorn from all around and get their, their bowl of pottage and their mug for the night.
We won't have time tonight, so we might have to just wait it out till tomorrow, see what goes down on tonight, and then head out in the morning. Because it'll be dark by the time we get there.
Oh yeah, you're the only one with oh no, you're not the only one without dark vision, right? The bard doesn't have dark vision.
Humans, they can't see very well, they can't smell very well,
Yeah,
can't taste very well.
But on the plus side, we also taste awful. So
yes, that's true. And if half races are any indication, you really just get it on with everybody.
Yeah, I mean, otherwise, what's the point?
Where do you think half orcs and tieflings come from? So your plan is to stay here the night and investigate tomorrow?
Guys, I think we should stay here tonight and investigate tomorrow.
Well, I'm just asking if that's your plan. I'm not telling you that's your plan.
that's what I'm putting that out to the crew as what should be our plan.
Well, we've paid our exorbitant price for the inn. I say we stay.
Right? I mean, it would be a shame. Like, listen, we're gonna wake up and we're gonna be covered in lice tomorrow morning. But I guess we've spent the money, so.
Cazador's a bit of a spendthrift. He doesn't waste.
I also take out my bedroll and put it on top of what she already gave us. So
when you all are talking about this, the bard leans in and says, "Actually, the accommodations here, 1 gold piece is an exceedingly good price."
Really?
Just the mug of beer and the pottage for the 4 of you alone would have cost 2 or 3 gold pieces.
I mean, that's even more
The
expensive than
accommodations.
dormitory rates.
The accommodations, not so much, but the food.
When you're buying top ramen all the time, you know,
That's true.
1 gold piece for food is a lot.
That's the side of someone who went to college.
Yeah, I'll take my climbing kit, kind of sit down where my bunk is gonna be or where my bedroll is gonna be, and kind of go over all the climbing kits, make sure it's in order. I know where everything is and that sort of stuff.
Yep. Take my bags, my blankets, sit it on top of my shield, and lay down.
While Runa goes over her climbing kit, I'm gonna be like also going through my climbing kit, but like I'm cheating off a test, and like as she looks at something, I'm gonna look at the same thing and nod like I know what's going on. And then I'll watch for her to look at the next thing. And then,
You're twinning? Is that what you're doing?
like I know what's going on.
I believe the phrase is cheating.
Look, it's not a bad idea to check your climbing kit, even if you don't know what you're doing. If someone pulls something out and you don't have that thing, you should probably be pretty concerned.
Yeah. If it's not mine and I don't use it every day, I'm gonna check it.
I mumbled something about I'm used to going inside mountains, not up them.
So is all my kit good? Is
Yeah,
everything?
kit's solid. You got your carabiners, got your ropes, got your. I think D-rings are carabiners.
Yeah.
I don't know much about climbing kits. I haven't done it before, but yeah, all of the parts that you need are there, including the like boot nails in order to climb up the side.
Cool.
All right, so if this is what we're going to do as a group, then Rick Jackson's going to head and now I missed it. Are we in a common room or did we actually get a room?
You are in a common room. They don't have regular rooms. They just have blankets in front of a fireplace.
Okay, so I'll pull these guys aside and I go, okay, if we're going to be staying here the night, here's what I suggest. I'm going to get some sleep now, make sure I'm rested. But once nightfall hits, you guys come wake me up because I plan on being outside and keeping an eye out on this town to see what might possibly come down this mountain.
Sounds good.
Okay.
I'll keep you company.
Enjoy your slumber.
So, Kazdor, are you also going to sleep right now?
Yeah, I'll go to sleep right. Or I guess I'll take the. Maybe no, because night hasn't fallen yet. So I'll sleep right now and then also wake up. Yeah.
Okay, all right. You guys get 2 or 3 hours of sleep before nightfall. Your companions wake you up and trade places with you. You will, however, require at least 6 more hours of sleep in order to not be exhausted the next day. So let me ask a question. What are the 2 people who are standing watches? Passive perception, which should be equal to 10 plus your perception modifier, although on roll 20 there might be something on your sheet.
Yeah, mine's
14.
so Luna and I are
14?
Mine is 15.
Wow.
Where's passive perception on the? Is it under skills?
Yeah, it should.
Sense. If you're looking at, you're looking at roll 20. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at roll 20.
So on roll 20, if you have the skills thing open, it should have passive as its own column on the right hand side.
Yeah.
It'll say pass.
Well, on my D&D Beyond, it's 13. So
Okay.
maybe I did something wrong.
Mine's 15.
Do you have a wisdom modifier, Kazdor?
+1.
Yes. And then your perception is you have a bonus of +3. Yep. That'll. Is your athletics really 18, Kazdor? 8? You have a +8 athletics at level 1? I don't know if that's right.
I think that's wrong.
So you should have a proficiency modifier of 2, and then your skills. Oh, I think you're putting your bonus into all these things, and that might be what's. That's what it is. All right. So for Kazdor, just real quick, you see it says proficient no next to everything.
Yeah.
All right. So if you set proficient yes, and then you lower your bonus to 0 for all the skills that are there, it should correctly put whatever your actual skill level is.
I should put yes to everything, or just the skills?
Yes to the skills that you actually have proficiency in, and it'll add whatever your proficiency modifier is, which at level 1 should be like a 2.
I have to see what. My
so it'll be 2 plus your modifier, and then yeah, like you won't have any bonuses to anything right now, so all your bonuses should be 0. So your passives. So we have passes of 13, 14, and 15, which are all very, very high. I mean, a 15 is incredible. So, team
I'm sorry, guys. I literally don't see it on my skill sheet, and I want to be able to find it. So,
so let me open up Rick Jack's here.
Yeah.
All right. So there's, you have your character sheet open. It says core stats and then skills, right?
Yeah.
All right. So when you click the skill tab, you should see it says Perception Wisdom. It's the right-hand column, third one down.
Yes.
Okay. All the way in the far side, in the blue box, it says Pass 10. So pass is passive. So because you don't have proficiency and you don't have a wisdom modifier, your passive perception is 10.
Okay.
So you are averagely good at detecting things going past you.
Oh, that's got to change. But okay.
Yeah. Picking up proficiency in new skills is usually pretty tough, though. Increasing your wisdom is a lot easier. So the two people who are on watch, if I recall, it's Kazdor and Rick Jax.
You guys are the first watch, and then we'll split with you.
Right. Rick Jax, you don't sense anything going on at the inn. However, Kazdor, while the rest of your party sleeps, and Rick Jax is staring into the hearth and occasionally taking a patrol outside to look around. You notice Oren going, she says that she's gonna go take a leak and feed the dogs. She does not return after a few minutes, and you kind of hear like a muffled noise and then like a dragging noise. The dogs growl briefly and then stop.
Rick, did you hear that?
You did not hear
what?
that.
I've only got a 10.
Is that what you turn up and say, I've only got a 10?
I'm going to be the worst rogue ever. No, I didn't hear that. Why? What did you hear?
I want to go check on Oren. So,
okay.
You head outside to check on Oren.
Yeah. I follow to where the dogs are.
You make your way to the dogs. All 3 dogs have had their throats slit.
By the guts.
There is blood pooling all over the ground.
Is there a trail?
There is a trail.
Okay.
None of it appears to be Oren's. It just seems like someone dragged her through the blood. The trail leads directly towards the mountain. In a straight line. Like if you have dark vision, but you can't see that far, right? You can only see about 60 feet. But I mean, like you're directionally oriented. You know that you're looking right at. If you were to look up, you would see the statue, the tomb of the unknown king.
Rick, I think you should get out here.
Okay. All right. So pause just for a sec, please. It looks like I entered in all my points into investigation, because I think in some circumstances, I think it's more up to the dungeon master. The investigation can do the same purpose as perception. Do you agree with that? Or
yeah.
no?
So it's about how you go about things, right?
Okay.
But you don't have a passive investigation, more or less, right? Like no one, unless you're Sherlock Holmes, you don't sit around and be like, oh, I just solved a crime.
This is a matter of we're doing other things, and then I hear this thing going on at the same time, so that's perception, right?
Got it. Okay, so mine is more of an active. Okay, all right, understood. Okay, all right, so I'll go back outside and see what's going on too.
Let me say, if that doesn't work for you, and if perception is more of something that you want, you can. I mean, like we're in the first episode here. You can certainly make a quick edit to your character sheet. Maybe somewhere, like probably either for rogue or for your background, there was something that gave you an option between picking perception or investigation as your proficiency. If that's something you'd rather do rather than investigation, let's do it now.
You know what? I'll live with it.
Okay.
So I'll role play it as we go and get used to it. So we'll have some fun, I think. So.
You think? Okay. All right. We'll try to have some fun here. We'll do our best.
I'm gonna examine the wounds on the dog, on the mastiffs.
Okay. Yeah. It's deep cuts, clearly very quick and with a very sharp blade. There's like no ragged edges. Make a medicine check.
Okay. How do I do that?
So if you have your skill sheet open, medicine should be on the skill page in the upper right hand corner. You just click a button that looks like a die next to it. Boom.
Yeah. Done it.
You have not handled a lot of dog corpses in your life, and you're not a doctor, Jim. Like, nor are you a veterinarian. You're just like sharp knife, quick cut, clean, deep. That's all you got.
These fellows look serious, Rick.
So, if I can backtrack a little bit, I wanna kick these guys. Are these guys awake? They are.
They are not awake.
No, we didn't wake them up yet. I wasn't sure if we should yet.
Don't even have to backtrack. You just say I go inside and wake them up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you kick them awake. I assume you kick Moshik really hard
I
in the
would like
shin.
to kick them awake, and then I want to go back and start investigating the ground, see if I can see any tracks or any clues.
Let's make that roll.
What did he wake us up for? He just
Why did he kick us?
and then left. Like what the shit?
Just come outside.
I hate that guy.
All
God,
right. So
people think I'm
see what
obnoxious.
happens. There we go.
All
I
right.
go outside and I just drop to my knees at the sight of these dogs.
These beautiful
I go
dogs.
over to Rick Tracks and I kick him.
Well,
Can I do
you
a
can't
dog
see,
roll?
right? You're human, so it's it's like a dark moonless sky out there. You go to
Can I
kick
kick
him,
him?
and like you solidly connect, but you don't know that there's blood around. You're like interfering with the crime scene.
What the hell? What's going on out here, guys?
Rick Jacks,
Do you want some light? I'm gonna pop some lights
you pop light, and
because I have.
what does your light spell look like? Are we
It is-
talking like it's a flare going off? Are we talking
Yeah,
you glow
just a
brightly?
light.
Oh, you're like a Roman candle sparking.
It's super ineffective. I use it for strobe lights in my performance art. Yeah, no, I'm just thinking like simple globes. I mean, I'm not a very imaginative guy. I failed out of Bard school, all right? Like, you don't get a lot.
Rick Jacks, there are foul creatures that live in the darkness. Terrible creatures that are slaves to the drow from whom you escaped from. Some have said that they are twisted dwarves. Others have said that they are simply terrifying creatures of the darkness. But they are known as Darrow. Human dwarf hybrids,
'Cause
monsters,
we'll sleep with anything.
and the cuts that you see, the tactics that you see used here, the way that they surrounded the creatures and attacked, the way that they've moved in the cover of darkness, the sadism involved, you know that this was a Darrow attack.
And are Darrow psionic?
Some have said that they are.
Oh,
Not all
okay.
Darrow, obviously. Like, you know, like maybe there are rumors of psionic Darrow.
Okay.
Darrow that can use magic that reaches beyond what is commonly known.
Okay.
He's
Can I
getting this
tell how
information,
many?
but we're not, right? Just making sure.
Sorry, what was the question?
So he's getting the information and we're not, right? Like this.
Yes,
is
because he's
investigation.
investigating, right? Like
Yeah.
he's looking around and he's seeing signs of the attack, like boot prints, like ripped fabric, the cuts on the dogs.
Until he actually.
So you know the movies where they're investigating and they're vocalizing the scene, you know, as it becomes clear in their head.
There was a firefight.
Yeah. So
It was
I'm
one
gonna-
friggin' huge guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna investigate that method so that they kind of understand what I'm comprehending as I comprehend it.
Did he say Daryl? Because in school, there's this kid Daryl. He was huge and a total jerk. I hated Daryl.
Derro. Darrow.
I don't think he was saying Daryl.
Okay, so can I see how many footprints?
Yes, there are 3 distinct set of footprints.
And then are we still missing the lady dwarf?
Yeah, she has absolutely been dragged off.
I'm gonna place my hand on Cazador's shoulder and say, I'm so sorry for your loss. I really thought you could land that fish.
It's a shame. It's a shame. But
It's not too late, guys.
it's not too late.
Let's go.
She was tough. If anyone could survive, I'd say she could.
I mean, I like that you're living in hope, but just remember, if you need a shoulder to cry on, Runa and Rick Jacks are always available.
Did you just disclude yourself?
As I'm just like kneeling on the floor in utter astonishment of this. I'm available. What time is it right now, approximately? Is it
Past
morning?
midnight, I would think.
Do I know how long it would take to get from here to the mountain area?
Getting to the bottom of the mountain would be, 10, 15 minutes travel. Climbing up the side of the mountain will be significant.
Yeah. And I didn't even know if that's where they went.
Well,
You know that they left in that
Cazador
direction
knows.
at the very least.
Yeah, we know
In that direction.
Kazdor, not Kazdor, Rick Jacks talked you through it. Using the power of theater.
Man,
So I recommend we try to get them before they get to the mountain, or they might know a way into the mountain, and we might skip the whole
you
mountain.
might not have to climb, because let me tell you, 1, fear of heights. 2, that backpack was really heavy, guys. I don't want to have to carry that.
I'm gonna go inside and start packing my things.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Luna.
All
And
right.
start packing my things, because I'm going to watch how Luna does it and then do it the exact same way.
She has very different things than you, though. So she's
I'm
like
gonna make-
rolling her clothes up, and you're like,
I guess
I didn't change my clothes yet. What do I do with my hands now?
Yeah, I have like the third of the stuff you have.
All right,
Right.
so
She's like a monk,
I'm
right?
gonna-
So
Yep.
So Rick Jacks is just going to request you guys to bring down his pack. I'm just going to keep looking, make sure that I can confirm what direction she was dragged through.
So are you going alone to continue to follow the trail as far as you can go?
I would say perhaps within the town. Yeah, just want for confirmation, try to get us a head start, because obviously we don't have a way of contacting each other, and I do want to wait for the 3 of them to catch up.
Interesting. Okay. Kazdor, what are you doing?
I'm gonna pack up as well. Get ready for the trip. Because I didn't bring out my shield or anything like that, or weapons. So,
All right.
getting ready.
So it's really just it's just Rick Jacks going alone. All right, Rick Jacks, you catch a break. You make your way to the base of the mountain, keeping a distance from climbing it. Right, like you don't have your kit, you're not ready to go yet. But
Right. I'm actually trying not to overtake anyone per se. Okay.
you definitely find, using your previous role and having tracked the Darrow to this location, you don't know where it is, but you know that the tracks end somewhere at the base of the mountain, and they did not climb the mountain this time.
Understood. Okay, so I'm gonna, before I do any further investigation, I will wait, or if I need to backtrack to come get these guys. Like, do I think that they will find me? Like, is the path to this bottom of the mountain pretty logical and straightforward?
Let me ask your friends. Do you feel like you'd find Rick Jacks in the dark? I mean, getting to the mountain, not difficult.
I leave the inn with my stuff, and I'm just like trekking along until Cazador or Runa stops me, because I'm like, I know where I'm going.
I could probably figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, my character could probably see his tracks.
Your friends catch up with you with no problems.
Okay. So I'll relay what I know. It doesn't look like they climbed the mountain. It looks like their path disappears here.
Now, who has the 15 passive perception?
I do.
Is that Runa? Yeah, Runa, as he mentions that, you're just like, oh, there's a fucking secret door. You can see it glowing faintly in the moonlight. There are almost imperceptible to the human eye moonlit dwarf runes that surround like a blank panel. It looks to everyone else as if it's just simple carved stone and there's nothing there, but with your dwarven focus and concentration and your apparently incredible eyesight, you immediately identify a hidden door. It's practically right in front of Rick Jack's.
It's literally right here, guys.
Rick Jack's like, where'd that come from? That wasn't there a second ago.
It's like the answer to a riddle. Once it's pointed out to you, you're just like,
You know exactly.
Like, oh yeah, no, I noticed. I was just waiting for you guys.
Yeah.
What did the
Good
runes
catch.
say? What did the runes say? Do I know what the runes
It's a great
say?
question. Who speaks Dwarvish? Dwarven.
That guy.
Cazador, I assume. Can I not assume that?
I hope you assume that you
Cazador. You definitely speak Dwarven.
It's a gaming.
Yeah, I do.
Most of you will speak the language of the race that you are, plus common. And some of you might have an additional language.
I have celestial deep speech and undercommon as
There
well.
you go,
If there's
see.
any crossover.
Also
Yeah.
the spoken word.
You read the runes. Anyone that can speak Dwarven reads the runes. It is old Dwarvish. It takes a little bit of finagling to translate it. You know, it's like, oh ye eldest. It's, you know, it's like Shakespeare trying to read Romeo and Juliet the first time. You're like, what's going on here?
I feel that.
Then you watch Romeo plus Juliet, and you're like, oh man, how did this movie get made? It says, I cover cities and destroy mountains. I make men blind, yet help them see. And when it says men, it doesn't, that the word for men in Dwarven doesn't specifically refer to like humans or males. It just means like mortal race.
Well, it's an old dwarven riddle, I suppose, fellas.
Can I hear it again?
Yes, let me get it for you. I cover cities and destroy mountains. I make men blind, yet help them see.
I make men blind, but help them see.
There's nothing D&D players like better than sitting around and trying to solve a riddle.
I'm gonna ask my pet Google that I pull out of my backpack.
Don't do that shit. Don't Google riddles, man. That's the worst. It's the absolute worst. The audience is Googling it right now, and they're like, Arthur, you just ripped that shit straight from the internet. You know how hard it is to make a good riddle? It's tough.
Yeah.
All
My
right,
the last show that I did last Monday, I introduced all of the cast as what piece of a Caesar salad they would be, and that took me 3 hours to write that joke. Riddles are not my forte.
All right, so I think the answer is wind.
Destroy mountains.
I say the word wind in old dwarvish.
You kind of fudge the word a little bit, you know. It's
Yeah.
hard to get all of the 4 R's in a row with the proper roll. The door does not open. Nothing happens.
Destroys mountains.
I'm pretty sure there's a town somewhere in England that has 16 consonants in a row in its name.
Oh, yeah, have you seen
Yeah, it's
Yeah, the
Welsh.
weather guy that says it. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, it's Welsh. It's the longest word in I guess not in English, I suppose, but
English is such a stupid language. What about like a storm or a fog?
Well, try rain.
Rain? Yeah. It's the rainstorm.
rain.
Nothing's happening.
Just start like running through every dwarven word you know, but slur it just a little bit.
Okay,
Oh wow, chat just posted the name of that city.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I start going through various words like that.
Nothing happens. You know, you're just like Stormfront,
Lightning cast.
Circulonimbus, Cumulonimbus. Surprisingly, in ancient Dwarven, Cumulonimbus is the same as it is in Common. Some have said they have the same root.
There's some overlap. Yeah.
I'll say friend.
Say friend and then-
Menlock.
Belloc.
The door does not open.
All right.
Damn it.
So can I have the riddle one more time, please? I got covered cities and tear down mountains.
I
Destroy-
cover cities and destroy mountains. Oh, if you've got it, you go ahead.
Yeah, I cover cities and destroy mountains. I make men blind, but help them see.
Light?
Yeah, let's try light.
Yeah,
Or
like
the sun.
Lumos.
Nope.
Nope.
what destroys mountains? I feel like that's the part that is.
Yeah, to me that's confusing.
Minutes pass as you stand around in the awkward darkness, speaking dwarven words.
What is around us?
Well, for some of you, it's easier to see than others.
I look around. Kazdor looks around, and he's just trying to see the lay of the land.
It is obviously there's a sheer cliff of the dwarven mountain sitting right in front of you. It's practically flat the entire way up, 1,000 feet to the tomb of the unknown king. In the other direction, there's a slight dip as the land leads down to Apple Valley. You obviously can't see that far, but there are some still lit hearth places where you can see a glow coming from chimneys, and occasionally, very rarely, a still lit lantern in a window.
Really sorry, guys. I had a joke book, but I sold it to raise money to, make ends meet, and I really feel like if I just held on to it, we'd be past this already. That's on me. I apologize. I've let the team down. Because I got nothing.
You are the face, and you're not working with us here.
Still pretty dark outside. Well, at this point, looks like we're freaking climbing.
Do we lose the... Is this like, nighttime related? Like, if we don't figure this out tonight, do we have to wait again? Or...
Well, we're not going to know that until we answer the question or know more about the riddle. Like, we can't know that. Destroy mouse.
I don't think this will be it, but try fog.
Fog.
That doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was never good at riddles.
Yeah.
Water.
I mean, I've typed it into my search bar, but I haven't pressed the enter button yet.
That's desperation right there.
But I just when I was typing it out, like to know what to type, just to have it.
You
that
know,
was the
you
first
know.
thing
Just to have.
Yeah.
I did.
I mean, I'm not gonna cheat. I just...
You know, it's like you got your Game Genie loaded up. You got your SNES cartridge loaded into it. Do you
Right.
put in the numbers, or do you just have it there just in case you want to skip the first boss? Gosh, there's a whole generation of kids that don't even know what Game Genie is. I just realized
Right?
that. There are people going to college that never saw Game Genie.
I was like trying to explain to my daughter why the save icon.
Looks like a floppy disk.
Right? She's
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Can I roll like insight
Yeah,
or history or
absolutely.
something to try to figure
No.
some stuff out?
This is exactly what the insight skill is for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a 9.
No. You use the roll 20. Look, we have. I know, but we have quantum rolls here.
Okay.
What they do is
I
they
have
get.
to type it out though because I didn't put it in my sheet.
That's true, but don't worry.
I
It's
just-
like you're
I
getting
just-
a whole second roll here for free, just this one time though.
I just rolled also.
A 17 insight. Friggin' dwarves, broken. They're gonna get nerfed in the next patch.
To roll in.
Just so you know, I've got 10 insight, so I'm gonna have fun.
Oh, that's not bad.
All right, Runa and Kazdor, the two of you sit down. You what's the word? You dicker about. You're just like, at the same time, one of you says something, and you look down at the ground and you notice something grainy, and you start thinking about glass. And at the same time, you both come to the conclusion it's sand. Sand destroys mountains and also can be made into glass, which helps men see.
Oh, like glasses.
All right.
Say glass or sand.
You immediately say glass and nothing happens.
Glass. Sand.
The door just disappears.
Sweet.
Inside is a dark tunnel that leads deeper and deeper into the mountain.
Now, I know this doesn't have to be said, but I feel like I should say it. We should probably not be too loud in here. And I stare right at
What?
Mordrick.
Mordrick.
Okay, fine. I got it all out. I'm good now.
Wonderful.
So let me ask a question first. Some of you can't see without an additional light source. For instance, I believe that Mordrick is currently casting light about himself.
Yeah, do you guys want me to kill this?
Oh,
It
yeah,
definitely
probably
shines
kill that.
into the tunnel.
Probably, yeah, definitely kill that.
All right, I'm gonna. Who's taking the lead?
Definitely.
I can do that.
Am I the only one who can't see?
I can't either.
Okay, so I'll go number 2, and I'll just have my hand on the shoulder of probably Cazador, right? Is he leading this?
Yeah.
Maybe not. He's tunneled my wrist. Maybe we don't want him in front.
Cazador, do you want to go, or I can go, or I can be the tail of the group and make sure nothing comes up behind us?
I'm excited. My character's pretty excited about exploring this dwarven hold. So, I mean, he's definitely pretty keen on being the first to go in.
Okay, yeah. So I'll follow up.
Let's do that.
Wait. Do we have rope? That might be.
We have rope with the climbing kits.
Yeah. So I'd say let's rope up. You know, like Cazador can carry the rope, and then Rick Jax can carry the rope, and then Runa and I can hold on to the rope in the middle.
We're all saying this very quietly, by the way.
Very quietly.
Okay.
I've already killed my lights.
Because that's how roleplay works, people.
Yep.
Say something and the DM's gonna roll with it.
That does sound like something I would do.
Does that sound like a plan, everyone?
Okay.
All right, guys.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Good.
So what's who's after Cazador? What's our
I'll go
marching order?
second.
So if I've moved you guys over to this map, you can physically rearrange your characters
Okay.
into the correct order.
Whoops. I was going to move me.
I
in
get you.
it.
All right, there we go. I'm there. I'm right behind
There we
Cazador.
go.
Cazador, stop moving. I'm already there. Don't leave me behind.
We just got this fake Cazador token until we got the full Cazador. Man, he's looking pretty badass right now. Like, I know I haven't talked about it, but he's got like, you know, the like facial blush going on. He too seems like maybe someone broke his nose at some point.
Yep.
I really like the little braid in the hair though. That sells me that he's a dwarf.
Yeah, I gotta work on getting the beard done, but yeah.
Yeah, looks pretty good.
Beard is tough, trust me.
Yeah, it is tough.
I'm not even talking about art, I'm just talking about beard in general.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I do have to work on these flesh tones though. These aren't like coming out right. I don't know.
Looks good on my screen. Yeah.
Looks like me without makeup right there.
Looks like he's had a few brews. He gets like red in the face when he drinks.
Yeah, exactly. He's just that super red, like earthy tone, skin tone.
So just to be clear, Mordrick is crawling around in the darkness, tied to somebody with a rope.
No, my suggestion is that Cazador holds the front end of the rope, and
Yep.
then Rick Jax holds the back end.
Oh, so you're all like advancing into the deep mountain, and the two people who can't see are holding a rope. Okay, all right. So we get the four of you creeping through the darkness. You come to a bend in the tunnel, and as the camera goes around into the darkness, a screen pops out that says, "After these messages, we'll be right back." We're right at the 2-hour mark.
Perfect.
So we will be taking a break. We'll be back to, oh boy, that hat did a number on my hair. All right, well, we'll be back in about 8 minutes for the second half, where we'll continue the adventures of this fellowship and find out, will they die on the first night? Who can really say? Things got a little creepy. There's a bunch of dead things now. We'll see.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say we're gonna die.
That went by really fast.
I thought it did too.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see you guys in about 8 minutes. Welcome back to the second half of the first episode. I'm still Arthur Perkins. This remains APGamingReal, and these people are real artists who are better than me. There was a question: is this art being drawn live? Yes, it is. It's so live that Connor sometimes forgets he's playing D&D. Apparently.
Very live, very in person.
I want to say first that I am jealous. Planet Chaos, you're okay. So look, I used to have a break screen where I would play all of the fan art that people made for me. I'm gonna sound super first world problems here. I'm even gonna do it in an accent to make it super dramatic. I had too many pieces of artwork made for me. It was lagging my OBS. So when you make a scroll thing that goes through items, right? It's always open, and all of my D&D stuff is all on the same OBS instance. So my BRB screen had over 1,000 pieces of art loaded into it, and was lowering me from, I mean, I have a really good computer. Like, I have a fucking Alienware computer that costs like $2,000, and then I upgraded the graphics card. It was dropping me from 60 FPS to 29, and it was bad. All my streams were starting to suffer, so I had to take it out. So I'm super jealous that you got like that roll, and now it makes me want to put it back in. I've only taken it off for like a month, but now like I look at yours and I'm like, it's so hard without you.
So you're talking about my break screen?
Yeah, so it rotated through artwork that you had done, and it looked great.
Just put it back in with less art.
Oh my goodness, but how do you pick and choose art though?
Well, it's pre-made. It's a video loop.
Right, right.
It's playing a video loop.
Man, maybe that's what I got to do. I don't know.
Just take the last, 50 that you put in there.
Last 50. Oh.
Keep those.
Oh, it's gonna hurt.
It is gonna hurt, but it's gonna be okay.
A portfolio should be 10 to 12 pieces, so I think that's plenty for your.
Someone suggested that I do the artwork for the specific stream, and then when I do gaming streams, I do all of the other art. But I'm on 5 years now, so like there might be 10 pieces of art for any one show, and then there'll be 980 pieces for all of the other shows.
Wow.
Yes.
There's a lot of art, and most of it is fucking excellent. Such good artwork. I work with a lot of artists. So let me do two things here. I want to ask, how is this going for you guys? Like this, for most of you, either this is not technically your first D&D session, since we did like a play test, and apparently I wasn't sure whether we were going to include it or not, but with all the stories of the goblins, I guess it's super canon now that you guys like defeated the goblins, and now you're in another small valley
it's totally
place.
Canon.
Yes, super canon, 100%.
Sure.
I don't think I gave you guys experience for that, so at the end of this session, I'm definitely giving you some XP for those goblins. Because you went through about a dozen.
Maybe that was the XP that got us up to.
Oh, to level 1? Okay.
There you go.
I'll go with
There
that.
you
Yeah, let me ask, how are you guys doing so far? Stream-wise, RPG-wise, is there anything we could be doing to make your experience better, etc., etc.? Connor, I think, maybe is like overloading here.
I've had a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm overloading a bit, but I mean, I'll catch up eventually.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we'll get used to it, right?
I mean, I would overload. I overload no matter what. Like that's sort of just how I operate.
And I mean, next time he's not going to be drawing, so he can be more invested in what we're doing.
Indeed.
Yeah.
then the next person will be overloaded.
I'm used to it.
Yeah, so I think it's going great. I'd like to get my sound fixed, but that's sort of a different issue. I think as a group, we have to kind of get used to investigation, but that's part of learning how to play. And
well, you know, not like we did this at the end of the playtest, where like not everyone was going to be into each person's personal purview, right? Like not everyone's into the investigation. I will say this: puzzles and riddles and that kind of stuff, all of that's going to be completely optional content. Like if you had failed to solve that and like climbed all the way up, you would have gotten here eventually from a different angle.
yeah,
They'll be like, oh, you engage with this content, you got secret treasure, you got, you know, a secret door that gets you someplace faster. It's never gonna be like, if you can't solve this riddle, you're done. You can't go forward. Reload your save.
Uninstall.
Yeah, I don't know about uninstall.
no, I think the riddle and the way you handled it and the way Bearded handled it was perfect. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
we kind of
That's what
try to
skills are
figure
for.
it out, and if we can't, then we'll go to the rolls and see if we can do it that way.
Yeah, I agree. I thought that was really good.
There are a number of systems, D&D 5e, Mistborn, all of them include a kind of, if you can't figure something out, make an insight roll.
I mean, even if we didn't have the roles, if we didn't have the character sheets, we would still progress the story, because even if we didn't roll for it, we'd still have to climb the mountain and the story would progress.
Exactly.
So, no matter what you do, the story is going to progress. Don't feel bogged down because you can't figure out one certain problem, because he's going to allow us to keep going.
No, if there's one
Yeah,
thing I know
absolutely.
about riddles, you'll be like in the middle of the night, you'll wake up and you'll be like, I can't figure it.
Sand.
Can't go back to sleep. It's sand. All right, then. Let us resume then as Cazador White Knuckle leads you deeper around the corners
To our
of
deaths.
his mind.
The rope brigade.
Yeah, I got this from when I student taught a little bard class. I forget what we could call it.
So,
Just a bunch of little. What's the word? They're like people, but they're small. They're
Bardlings?
gross and just like juicing constantly from everywhere. Like so much snot. It's
children?
Yes, children. But
Said the
You
voice
know.
from the sky.
you tie them all together. That way, if they run off, he chokes the other 7 and has to drag all that dead weight behind
But
him.
we're
It's
not
perfect
good at
system.
riddles, Mick.
So, Cazador, I believe you have like a 13 passive perception or a 14. It's pretty high.
13, I believe. Yeah.
As you prepare to go around the curve, you hear sounds of movement echoing off of the walls. There is something waiting for you deeper in the cave.
About how far does it sound? Like very far off, medium distance?
As
Or-
you listen in deeper, make a perception check. It's tough to tell with the echoes. You know how it is underground. Everything's bouncing around.
Okay. I mean, we sort of. I think we could all expect that there's something down here, fellas. Let's keep going forward. We don't know what it is, but that's what we're here for.
I'm going to take out my hand crossbow and load it.
I ready my axe and shield, I suppose, especially being that I'm in the front.
I'm gonna take out my fists and load those.
Oh yeah.
Shut it.
All right. I guess.
I'm gonna draw my sword and whisper quietly, not as quietly as I think, but a little quietly. Oh shit! That
So we're not doing 60s beatnik music anymore.
You gotta match it for the move.
Okay.
For the,
Slap him in the back of the head.
So, Kazdor, as you advance around the corner, let's have you move up and have the rest of the party move as well. As you advance, your dwarven eyes come across a foe that you have not seen in some time. There are
Oh my god!
Goblin elk.
They're little puppy dogs.
Okay.
There are 3 dogs. They are not cute golden retrievers, as the icons would have you believe, but they are mongrel, underfed, missing patches of fur and skin, and they are all chained with some leeway to the doors around them. One of them begins pacing in your direction. It seems as if it isn't sure if you're there yet. It starts growling lowly, and you see its light, its eyes reflect in the dark vision of your eyes.
Hold up, guys. There's some dogs. I mean,
Like,
When you say something, the dog immediately just starts barking.
Yeah.
The other dogs wake up and start barking as well.
Okay, but I had to tell them what was going on.
I mean, it's
Go
good
with
thing
sign language or something.
on a stealth mission, right?
Yeah.
Oh, true. Yeah, I could have. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Yep. All right. Well, I mean, I'm gonna
Cazador on the back, but like, it's all right. It's a rookie mistake.
I'm gonna position myself into the if I can, into this like sort of passageway and sort of gauge whether or not they can go closer to me or how far.
All three dogs leap forward to the extent of their chains. It looks like they only have about 10 feet of leeway. But as the chains snap taut, the doors behind them kind of like move a little bit. It's clear that the doors are probably locked, given that they aren't opening despite the dogs pulling at their maximum fierceness.
And there's 3 doors.
I'm
There
gonna
are
say,
3
guys,
doors.
Okay.
I can't see, so I'm gonna pop some light, and I'm gonna send out my globes again.
The barking intensifies now that the dogs can see all 4 of you.
Okay, I'm gonna. I don't know if I can do this, but I'm gonna like bash it with a shield and then like attack it with the axe.
You're gonna bash the dog, one dog.
Yeah, bash. Because I mean, basically, only one dog can attack at a time. Really, at this.
Well, they can't get any closer.
They can't get any closer to you, so if you had some sort of...
We have to move into them.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna step forward and
Okay.
bash one.
Let us roll initiative then. 'Cause,
All right.
Right? I mean, okay. I don't know.
no, that's, I mean, everything you're saying
That is a
is
valid option.
correct. You can do this thing that you would like to do.
Okay. All right. So.
I'm keeping an eye behind us just in case.
That's a good call, given that you know that there are like crazy murder people wandering about. So all of you should have an initiative button somewhere on your character sheets.
What's the key code for rolling?
For this one, on your character sheet there should be a...
Yeah, I haven't filled out any of my character sheets.
It's /roll.
Yeah.
And then
Slash roll.
space 1d20 plus whatever your initiative is.
Yep, I'll get you added.
So I rolled an 18.
Yep, and it automatically added you.
And then it's the total number, not the bonus.
You'll add your bonus.
Your bonus is your dexterity modifier.
For you, Connor, if you go to your core stats sheet,
Yep.
on the right-hand side, middle, sort of, there's an initiative section.
Yeah, I can press that roll button, and then on roll 20 it says you attempted to use the roll command looking for a value of a selected token, but no token.
Yes, you have to click your Cazador token as well.
Ah, that's how it works. Okay.
Yep.
Gotcha.
And you just ace it with a 25. Do you actually have a
Jesus.
+5 to dexterity to start with?
Do I have it wrong?
I
You
think
should have an 18 dex to have a +5.
Yeah, you only have a 12 dex. Why is it doing that? Oh, you put a bonus of +4 in your initiative. That's
Okay.
why. I'm gonna lower it real quick. No. Look, so if we were sitting at a table together, right, you would roll a die, and then you would tell me what the result of the die was and like your bonus. If it says 25, you don't need to re-roll it. I'm just gonna take 4 off of it and make it 21. It would be super weird for me to be like, you gave me the wrong initiative bonus. Re-roll the die as your punishment.
Okay.
Your new initiative is 1.
Yeah, that
My
my
bonus is 1 now, right?
yes. So
Okay.
you have a 21, which means you are acting first here, which
right.
makes sense because you're the one that's stepping forward to attack one of the dogs.
Yeah. Great.
as you step forward, the dogs are afraid. They kind of shirk back for a moment and then leap back to charge. So what's your combat style here, Kazdor? Like, are you shield bashing these dogs, or you just like going wild? You spit in like a top? You're attacking carefully?
No, he's pretty defensive, especially when it comes to these dogs, because
It's not a dog guy.
Not a dog guy, really?
Well, he's got tunnel fighter, and B, like when you're encountering a dog, like the dog can't do anything if it's got a big old shield plate in front of its face. Like there's nothing it can do. It doesn't think tactically about going around the shield. So
Right.
you bash it with the shield first. There's just nothing that a dog can really do.
For sure.
So that's what he's going to think tactically about it like that.
That's what he says, right until he drops his shield for just a moment and the dog slips under his guard. Hit me with your roll here.
Yeah. So where do I do that one then?
If you haven't set up attacks already,
I think I have.
let's look on your character sheet. Weapons. Yep, you have a Warhammer. You can just hit on your sheet, go to weapons, and just hit attack.
Okay. Do I do the shield bash thing, or?
No, just do Warhammer, because it's the only one that you've actually put damage in for.
Nice.
What?
Natural 20.
1d8 plus 3. So it's not a natural 20. Why do you have a plus 4? That's super weird.
Sorry about that. Everything I put in is wrong, I guess.
Yeah, you put in some bonuses somewhere, and I don't know what happened. So it should be a 1d8 plus 3.
Yeah.
I don't know where it's getting the plus 4 from, though.
Yeah,
So it's still an 8, so it's 8 minus 11.
Yeah, it'll still be more than enough to knock the dog out. So let me ask you a question. Is your objective here to, like, kill the dog, or are you just, like, blooping the dog so he falls unconscious?
I want to bloop the dog.
All right, yeah, you bloop the crap out of this dog. This dog leaps forward and slams right into your shield, and then just falls cold cocked right over.
It's like,
Is in a dream of large women.
large dog women.
Log.
Okay. I've taken that guy out. I guess that's the end of my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, technically you can keep moving, so you've only moved 5 feet. If you want to keep walking anywhere,
I'm gonna block in over here if I can.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, yeah. You just knock one dog out and you immediately move to the other one. All right. The dogs continue to make a ton of noise, and then you are now like surrounded by the 2 dogs. They're on either side of you, leaping forward, and you're like, as long as I keep a shield. And then like there's a dog like biting you on your butt, trying to get to your arm, and you're like, as long as I keep my butt between.
Betwixt it.
So let's see here.
Tactical error, I guess there.
What is your armor class, Kazdor?
If I entered it right, it's a 16.
All right. One of the dogs is biting you on the butt and cannot get through your armor. Whether it's a chain shirt or leather armor, the dog is like hanging back there, like ah. It's not going anywhere quick. Rick checks.
Is there such a thing as delay in action?
Yes.
So delaying an action works kind of differently in 5e. You can choose to physically take an action, like an attack, later in combat by using your reaction, so like your ability to hit someone that runs past you, but you can't also move. So you'd have to move now and then save your action for later in the order. You can't like manually move yourself to different places in the initiative order anymore.
It's basically holding your action. You're only holding your action, not
Yeah,
your
you
bonus
literally
action or your
only
move
hold your action. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So doing
Now-
your bonus and your move before that.
Is it even possible for me to squeeze through the aisle with
Yeah.
both of them?
Yep.
You can move through friendly spaces.
Yep. And you're
Okay.
super small, so it really wouldn't make too much of a difference anyway.
All right, so I'll come forward. 1, 2, 3, right? I can do that because I can move 25, I think. And with the pommel of my sword, see if I can attack the dog and try and knock it out.
Okay.
You have advantage because you're flanking.
That's an optional rule, and we won't use that particular one.
Okay.
But
So
do I get sneak attack?
You do get sneak attack, and you need to declare it before your attack, which you just did. So yeah, you sneak attacking the dog. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Are you looking to kill the dog or knock it out?
No, with the pommel, since we're knocking dogs out, that's what I'm going to do.
So this dog is like not looking at you, and you're like sneak attack, and you look for that critical location. You're like, this will knock him out real good.
Not if I get 2 1s.
Okay. I don't know. Yeah, let's see. Well, you only need 1 in order to fail the first one.
So I got a question here. Since it's a pommel, I have a rapier and a dagger. Should I attack with the dagger, the 1d4, or should I do the 1d8?
Whichever one you want to use.
All right, I'll go for the 1d8. Okay, there we go. Where is it? There it comes.
I think you can. Okay, yeah, 23, no big deal.
It's only now 20.
I don't know why it's adding extra damage for you guys though.
Yeah, that's weird.
Is it doing the plus stat thing? Is that what's...
Yeah, it's from the stats, right?
So it should already be I mean, it literally is already adding that. Let's take plus stat off and see. I'm just going to re-roll it real quick. Of course, your damage will be the first one. Yep, okay, so just if you remove plus stat, everything will roll correctly. I don't know why it's adding it twice, but... Alright, so you did, on your first attack, you got a 6, plus 3 is 9, and then you also roll your sneak attack dice now. I mean, there might even be a sneak attack macro. So do you know how big your sneak attack die is? Is it a 6 or an 8 or...
It's a 6. It's a 6.
Alright, so let's see here. There should be... I don't know. Well, just roll /1d6 real quick and...
Okay, hold on.
Alright, you're probably using your character sheet. And when I do this, it'll actually change it for you.
Yeah, that's good. Roll 1d6, okay?
4. Alright, so you deal 9 plus 4, 13 points of damage. No big deal. You immediately knock the dog out. The dog is just like, boop. It's as unconscious as a dog could be, sleeping gently. Runa. I'm actually going to change the name of your character to Runa as well. Could update everything.
I'm feeling kind of invincible. Let's go.
Yeah, of course. No problem.
Basically odds.
Nothing bad will ever happen. We'll all stay young and incredibly powerful.
So,
Runa, what do you got going on here?
I'm going to move over to the remaining dog and non-lethal damage it. Hopefully knocking it out.
What does your monkish combat arts look like? I mean, are we talking capoeira? Are we talking boxing? Mixed martial arts? Krav Maga? Do you perhaps use the ancient Grecian art of pancration?
Look, it's mixed martial arts. How about that?
All right, yeah, all right.
For
so
now, it's just a stand-up game.
Okay, let's see it. Show me some dice.
$15 to hit.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Sick.
Feel like you get this dog in some sort of like joint lock. You kind of got one of its doggy arms behind its head.
Just freaking.
It's trying to tap out real quick.
Will Smith it when he was like, 1d6 plus 2.
Look, I'm not a veterinarian, but I assume that there's a way to not like choke a dog out, right? We aren't into animal violence here.
Yeah.
But you're like gently, you know. Yeah, you know, like with that marine thing where you get behind somebody and you just hold your arm there until they fall asleep. The dog is just like gently going to sleep as you've got
I'm like petting it as it goes.
Your whole body is wrapped around it like a snake.
You pull up 24, Jack Bauer, and he's like, "Don't fight it, don't fight it."
Oh man, 24. That's a name I've not heard in a while.
That's 8 non-lethal damage.
Yep, all these dogs have been knocked out. And
I'm gonna like pop around the corner real quick, and the one that Connor knocked or Cazador knocked out first, I'm gonna just stab straight with my
What?
Really? All right, you step forward. You stab the dog. I mean, it starts bleeding. This dog is gonna die without immediate veterinary assistance.
What the hell is wrong
What
with
the
you?
hell? I'm gonna run over there.
I saved all of you.
Medicine check.
All right, make a medicine check. I'm gonna improve the difficulty slightly because you're not an animal doctor.
Right. Oh, I just fucked up my stats. Hold on. Plus medicine. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty bad.
All right, you're trying to like hold the blood in, and then you realize there's a hole coming out the other. Like it's going through the dog. It's got one of those through and through wounds, and you don't have. They're just like, oh no, yeah, this dog's gonna expire. Mortrick standing proudly over the dog, his rapier dripping in its blood, is dark.
And I'm like, you guys all know, if this thing had been running around on 2 legs, we would have done the exact same thing. Don't feel bad because it's a dog. All right, let's check out these doors.
Nobody else helping the dog? Everyone's just dumbfounded as the dog.
That's pretty much it.
Mortrick, what, did you burn animals as a kid? What is wrong with you?
You know these things are going to wake up behind us. We're just going to have to kill them again on the way out. Now there's
But we won't. There's that option too.
All right, while these guys are chatting, I'm checking the doors.
All right. The doors here are all made of solid wood. They appears to have been maintained rather well. Oiled kind of wood timbers. All 3 doors are locked, however. Just a simple look at them notices that there is some sort of barring mechanism on the far side that has it closed.
All right, I'm going to whip out my thieves' tools.
Oh boy.
Look at Rick Jackson say, race ya.
Deal.
What kind of what are the dogs held with, like chain wise?
So there's like a knocker ring that would normally be used to knock on these doors that instead has iron wrought chains.
And then like a chain for their neck.
So they have collars made of like thick leather.
Can I uncollar the one that
Yep. Yeah, you
my
can.
dude,
you can
just stabbed?
if you have some sort of knife, you can just cut it.
Yeah,
But
I
you're-
got a short sword.
Yep. All right. Yeah, you slice that thing open, with a little bit of work.
We got the dog whisperer over here.
No, I just care about things.
That's good. It's all good.
So,
Right, so I'll take door 1. Mick,
Alright.
you want to race? You take a
Yeah,
door, I'll
okay.
take a door.
All right.
so which door is Rick Jack's taking? It looks like Mortrick just jumped over. All right, door 1, door 2. Okay, each of you will roll your Thieves' Tools proficiency. So it's your proficiency modifier plus your... Oh, you've already got it. Plus your dexterity. Well, with an 18 and a plus 7? Plus 7?
Shit.
There's no way that could be right.
It has to be, right? Because that's my expertise.
Oh, right, you're a rogue. My bad.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
you get all sorts of extra stuff. All right.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Mine is 4.
A 15. All right, you both open your doors, but Rick Jack's is much, much faster. For Rick Jack's, you just move forward and you're doing the fallout thing and you find the sweet spot immediately and you just slide the bar, you like pull your tool and the bar goes back.
I want to look to Mick, and I'll wink at him because that's how it's done. Okay.
I'm like, damn, man, that was amazing. Let's check out your door first.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we're all ready, right? Because there's no way we're going to surprise anyone. I don't think. So let's open the door.
Runa, what is going on with this dog? You're holding the dog that is gently bleeding out. Why is that funny to you? You've murdered this dog in front of all of us, in front of your peers.
I'm going to move it out of the area of the other 2 dogs and then use my cloak to just drape it over the dog. Hopefully we'll be back.
I should note that any of you guys can also try to make a medicine check to save this dog.
All right, I'm gonna throw my hands up in disgust and say, "Oh Jesus, fine. If this is what we're doing, I'll try to fix the dog I just killed."
All right,
I will admit he did bite my ass.
See,
it's true. It
I'll
was
start-
actually the other dog that bit your ass.
Whatever. Guilty by association.
So you're saying because they've been trained this way, they deserve to die?
Does Mordrick have any spells? Or not yet? Is it too soon for that?
I do have spells, but I didn't pick healing as a character choice.
Gotcha.
Because you're selfish.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, Mortrick. Look, this might not be the first time you've accidentally stabbed a dog. With a 19, with Runa, you know, getting it all blanketed. She's already tried to stop the bleeding. You just get in there and you're just like, all right, I got this. The dog will survive. Certainly it will be wounded and in pain, but it will live from your
I'm
vicious...
gonna whisper as I save the dog. You own me now. I'm your best friend. You're gonna be loyal to me because I saved your life. Never forget who saved your life. It was me. I'll be back for you.
Are you trying to subliminal message a sleeping dog?
I mean, you don't know until you try, right?
You know what? Why don't you make a at disadvantage persuasion check? And I'll tell you what, if you can get at least a 15, this dog may feel some small measure of loyalty. It definitely is. It will not follow you around.
It's persuasion.
Persuasion.
That's a strong point.
A 7 plus 5 is 12.
No.
The dog and you do not speak the same language.
Plus 5 is 17.
But it's a disadvantage, so we're taking the lower
gotcha.
number
Yeah,
of
the
the
lower
two.
one. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
I'm gonna unbuckle the other 2 dogs.
Okay, yeah, you slice the collars right off cleanly.
Let's continue. We're here to save people, not to kill them.
Yeah, I didn't kill people. I killed dogs.
Runa
Are
doesn't
you
say
sure that you're not a goblin? Like,
But she gives him a serious side eye and like clenches her fists really hard. Let's continue.
look, I didn't want to do this, but there might be some goblin baby conundrum later that's going to cause some... You never heard of this one? It's a good one. It's where you present the party with a goblin baby, and then everyone's like, do we kill it or not kill it?
I wouldn't kill a goblin baby.
You would
But you
kill a
kill a
dog?
Yeah, a
Oh, my-
dog is an animal. A
You've
goblin
already
baby
failed the
is a
goblin baby
sentient
challenge. Look,
creature.
there really isn't a wrong answer, but you've managed to kill.
Yeah, I'm not telling you how to play D&D, but you're doing it wrong.
All right, so if I'm understanding this correctly, Rickdex, you're popping the door in front of you open, correct?
I am doing that.
Very well. As you slide it open, you see a hallway extending before you. There is a slight bend to it as another path breaks off to the right. Inside, once you're past the door, the kind of rough-hewn walls of the outside turn into the majestic and mostly well-kept walls of a dwarven keep. Every possible inch of this place is covered in scrollwork or sigilry or some form of iconography. On the ceiling, there are elephants that dance across the sky. Along the walls, there are images of volcanoes and rings and walnuts and cheese. Along the floor, there are dwarven markers that indicate the location of where different rooms are. For those that speak dwarven, it is basically like a map of the keep written onto the floor.
Aye, my ancestors did well here.
However, the floor has been scuffed badly in this hallway, and it is difficult to read them without significant effort.
Okay. So, I mean, I make an attempt to read them.
Sure.
I think I see some runes through. I mean, they've been scraped off, fellas, but I see some runes. So
Make a perception check.
let me take a look.
I'm going to try to relock this door before I follow them into that other tunnel.
Yep, easily. You just slide the bar back.
to
All
this
right.
corner and kind of peek around.
Oh, all right. So, Runa, as you move forward, Kazdor, you are aware
Stealth
that.
check.
So let's see here. You have what, 60 foot of vision, and then hit me with that stealth check. So Kazdor, you watch as Runa steps over some runes, and oh wow, I could see your exasperation. That's a 6. That's not great.
It's not great.
She keeps like putting her foot on the same rune over and over, and then at some point, like steps on a pebble and goes like ah. It gives away her position immediately. There's an indicator that directly ahead southwardly in this hallway there is it's like a champion's room. It's where the bravest members of a dwarven fortress would go in order to like drink and do like wrestling and that kind of rough housing.
There's meat all ahead, boys. Then I'm not sure what's to the left.
To the left, well, for you guys it's to the right, but
Sorry,
yes, right. Obviously we're all looking at this from a different angle. So to the west, I suspect would be easier to say. It indicates that this is a training hall of some kind. Runa, as you look around the corner, you see no such training hall. The door that is there has been ripped off of its hinge, and all that you see are like the twisted metal hinges that have been violently forced, as if by some great wrenching. Where once there might have been a training hall, what scant you can see appears to be blankets laid upon the floor, a pack against the wall.
Can I ask the question? Remember, we came following the Darrow. Are there any
Yes.
drag marks or anything going through any of the 3 doors?
Oh,
Yes, there are drag marks going through the central door.
Okay.
Are they
And
fresh?
They are fresh.
And then which way do they trail now?
Continues southernly through the
So-
door to the Champions Hall.
All right.
All right, make a call, Runa.
I need you guys all to get in here first so that the dogs don't wake up while you're still out there, and close it.
You know, there's another way we can fix this dog problem. But I'll follow in.
I'll fix your dog problem, and I shake my fist at him.
So you're closing the door behind you, correct?
Yeah, that looks like a sleeping area to the west of us. I don't think there's anybody in there. Can I hear anything coming from over there?
What's your passive perception?
15.
Yes, you can hear many things. Now that you stop and concentrate for a second, there is a sound coming from the south, from the southern door that's there at the Champions Hall.
Nothing from the west.
Well, let me get around to it. The
Okay.
first thing that you hear from the south is as if someone has put their ear to the door and is breathing heavily, like as if anticipating you arriving. To the west, you can hear common tongue very lightly. It's impossible to make out anything more than like one word in 3, but there's definitely the sound of clinking of metal and the creaking of leather, and occasionally like the scuff of something along the floor. So even though you can't see very far into this particular room to the west, there's definitely something there.
In a very hushed tone, I'll be like, they know we're here. Tread carefully.
Yeah, because those dogs were super loud.
Unless you stepped on that pebble.
Yeah, we were fine until you stepped on the pebble.
There's one, yeah, right? There's one right in front of this door. I feel like we should go towards the mess hall.
The meat hall?
To the west of us, yeah.
What's the lighting situation in here?
Completely black.
Blue black.
All right,
Only
so I
light-
still have my lights out though.
Yes, you're the only one with light.
So the south of us know we're here because the light's probably going under the door.
Door, yeah.
Trust me, they knew you were there with the dogs.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, like
I don't like this enclosed space, so I'd rather go over this way. It looks like there's a bigger room.
okay. And Rick Tracks, do you have our back, right? If we move up, then if they try to come at us through this door, you have that covered.
Yep, absolutely. I'm gonna stick by this door.
All right. Hey, Kaz, do you want me to go first and look for traps, or you just want to barrel in like we did in the Goblin Cave?
You can look for traps.
What? I thought Cazador would love to jump in.
He'd like to jump in, but he's getting nervous with these narrow tunnels.
Yep.
Enough talking. We need to
All right.
go.
All right, I'm gonna roll an investigation, look for traps real fast.
So, Mortrick, are you leading the party? It kind of looks like Runa's jumping ahead of you.
You jumped in. Does Runa want to take the lead?
I'll take the lead. It's fine with me.
All right. Runa, let's have you move up to here real quick, if that's as far as you want to go, and I'll tell you what happens from there.
Yeah.
So, we've already established that you're kind of not doing so well at stealth right now.
Well, they know we're here, so
Yes.
I'm not even worrying about it at this point.
As you Metal Gear Solid, flatten yourself against the wall and like peek around the corner. Let's have everybody move up in this tunnel. What is the like walking situation now? Before there was like a rope, but now are you
I
guys?
have my lights out, so I'm like, I mean,
Oh, you've put your lights. Oh yeah, your lights are out. So are you guys like crouching and creeping now? Like,
Yeah, I say, yeah, I'm with Runa. Let's just charge it at this point. I mean,
Go for the light, because they know we're here, so go for the light.
yeah.
okay.
They might even be at a disadvantage. Who knows?
What do I got? What do I got? Okay, yeah. I have my lights out, so I'm just gonna go up to here.
All right, Runa, you're staying in front of him.
Yeah.
Runa, you gonna stay in front?
As the two of you begin charging forward around the corner, the rest of your party, I believe, is following behind you.
Rick
We're
Jackson's
trailing
gonna
back.
stay guard the door. You're gonna stay back, or are you gonna come with us?
But he's guarding the rear, right?
Yeah, I'm guarding the rear, because we know there's someone behind us.
So your light gets closer and closer. Runa, as you round the corner, there's a flash, and you notice that there are 3 halflings, all dressed in black leather, wielding scimitars, and they have some sort of emblem around their chest, like a holy symbol of some kind. One of them has like lit a torch as soon as they were ready for it. As soon as you walked around the corner, they lit the torch and then throw it into the corner so that they can see you. Let's go ahead and roll initiative.
Right. It's on.
It definitely is on. This one. Rick Jax, Cazador, Runa is at a 11. Wow, Wartrick, really? Man.
It's
Okay.
fast on the uptake on this one.
Yeah.
Now that he's got the torch going.
Yeah, I was ready for this.
He's got a torch, he's got some light. All right, Mortrick.
He's got the bloodlust from the dog, too.
These guys are all, they've got their scimitars up next to their head. They're like ready to charge forward, but you're faster than them somehow, inexplicably. I mean, you knew it was coming. You knew something was there. What do you want to do?
My sixth sense.
Your sixth sense is logic, apparently.
Sense of humor.
My sense of humor is my 4th sense.
All right, so what do we get? I have how much movement? 30, and that's so each of these squares is 5, right?
That's correct. So I think if you have your character, if you click on your token and then you hit Q, I know that's a weird button, it should make an arrow that will tell you how far you can move, and then you can like press Q to like stop in a location and move in a different direction to like go around corners.
Q? Yeah, no,
Q.
I'm not getting that. Q? Q's
Are you so you have to hold the token at the same time with your mouse and then hit Q.
Oh, I see. I get you. And hold Q.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Here's 30. Okay, so I want to come in and slash at this guy, but can I move my globes in front of the other two just as, you know, a minor distraction?
It will be an extremely minor distraction, but yes.
Okay.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
Rick Jax, you inputted like a bunch of Q commands. I don't know if you could see it, but for the rest of it, it's like creeping on one step at a time.
That's fantastic. Okay, yeah. So then I'm gonna slash at this guy right here.
All right, let's do it. Also, yeah, for Mortrick, I guess maybe it's lagging because of Rick Jacks, but you're also moving along very slowly. You have not reached the end of your travels yet, but I know where you're headed.
On my screen, I have.
I know,
Sorry.
I know. It does it automatically for the person that did it.
Okay.
All right, you've made it. You're attacking the far side one.
With my rapier.
What does your combat style look like when you're attacking a real target?
Overly artistic and.
Oh, is there like a lot of flourishing and way too much side to side movement for a rapier?
Yeah.
A couple art classes in college.
Yeah, like I came in 5th, not because of. Not because I wanted.
Combat ability, but style.
Let's see
Points for
here.
style.
17? Was that your first roll?
No, 17 was my initiative.
Right.
12 was my
A
attack.
12. All right, so here's what happens. You dash forward. You swoosh. The scimitar fighter like follows your sword, tips slightly. Then you go way wide, and he moves to block it, and you slap the sword back and get a solid stab right in its shoulder. It punctures directly through the leather armor there.
Aha!
My name is
Never mess with an Oogatube man.
5 points of damage.
5 damage.
You deal him a serious wound, and blood pours from it as you pull your rapier out. But he's not going down from just that attack.
A little bit tougher than your pets outside, aren't you?
Let me ask you a question. Do you speak gnome?
I speak. No, I do not. Like specifically gnome. No, I do not.
These 3 halflings begin babbling in gnomish.
I speak though.
Yeah, they're like reciting mathematical equations. They're walking you through how to do trigonometry. They're like sine, cosine, tangent, opposite over adjacent. The 2 of them move to surround Mortrick, and one of them moves to block the rest of the party from joining Mortrick. And the 2 that are side by side with him begin just the saber dance, where anytime Mortrick looks away, they try to dash in with the scimitar and smack him in the face with it. So
Goodbye, Mortrick.
I mean, he
Yeah, it's
could live.
Yeah.
What is your armor class?
13.
All right, so the first guy is the one gathering your attention. So as you turn to the west to keep following the man that you stabbed, he is just like, ha, ha, and then you feel a kind of cold slice as from behind your back takes a long, wide scimitar attack. And in the process, 3 points of damage. You're like, ah, Wilhelm scream. Runa, one of them has moved up in front of you to block your path and is like moving back and forth constantly in order to try to like get you to drop your guard. You never actually drop your guard, and at the last minute, you just starts stabbing with the scimitar, almost Mortrick like. What is your AC? Ooh, not that. It's definitely higher than that. I think you're muted though.
Oh, can I? Never mind.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yep.
My AC is 15.
Yeah. No. It does not take much to just slap this sword aside as he feebly ha ha ha. Runa, it's up to you. Sorry, Mortrick, you had a question?
No, I'll take care of it later.
All
It's
right.
more of a character build thing. I don't think it matters.
With the movement of that sword slash, I'm just gonna grab his arm and kind of like flip him over.
Oh,
Flip him
okay.
over,
Yeah.
And then I'll just say, Kaz, handle this, and do that kind of attack.
All right. So let me ask you a question. You're not looking to do damage. You want to throw him behind you. You want to physically move him.
Yeah, sure.
All right. Make an athletics check.
athletics is.
He's much smaller than you, so I'll allow for this.
Mortrick, have you moved? Okay, so now you move forward. Okay,
Yeah.
you're there. Okay, and
This
he's
guy
gonna.
has a 0. No. All right. Yeah, you go to grab this guy. It's not that you aren't stronger than him, because you definitely are, and you're more athletically skilled. He's just evasive. I mean, and he's got a sword. You know,
Right.
that's not something you want to lay your hands on, and it's cutting your options down. Anything else you want to try? Well, I mean, all you got left is like movement and bonus actions.
Right.
You're like, Kazdor, take care of this guy.
I'm going
Because
to.
you're like waiting for this to happen, Kazdor.
I'm gonna jump over the small man.
Oh, all right. Okay. All right.
Get to his other side.
Make a second athletics roll. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Like at some point, you get a hand on his head, and you just do like a handstand
Wall run.
over him, one-handed, and you are now behind him. So that takes 20 points of movement to get
Okay.
to there. Basically, it's
so I
difficult terrain to hand plant over this guy.
And if I move, he's gonna get an attack of opportunity, so I'll stay there.
Yes. Kazdor, where once there was Runa, now there is a halfling.
Right. So I'm gonna move forward two squares.
Yep.
I'm guessing that Mortrick is not there, even though his title is there for me.
Really?
He is not there, no.
I'm not there.
Interesting.
I moved so fast, I left an after image like the Flash.
I would
So
try
I'm
to see if you
gonna,
could reload.
So I'm gonna do like a running leap and mash my warhammer into his face.
Superman Warhammer, nice.
Yep.
Yeah. Something
This
like
is
that.
this is some Thor stuff.
Right?
Oh, we'll see how that works out.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
Look, rolling low doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't look good. It just means it doesn't have a good effect. No. Well, first off, there's no way you have a 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
It's
did roll
adding,
a
so
natural
it's
20.
yes, you did roll a natural 20, so you're definitely going to crit. It's still double adding stuff for you. So you deal. Why is it 4 and 3?
Where do you see the 20? Because I'm seeing 30 and 20.
Right, when you scroll over it, it'll show you that you have a natural
Yeah.
20 on the roll.
Okay. All right.
Oh, your
Why
warhammer
is it adding
select.
5 and 5?
Yeah, I don't really know. So let's take your plus stat off and see if this corrects all of your. No, it's still giving 5 and 5. Oh, do you have a plus 5 bonus on? You definitely have a plus 3 bonus.
Did he start with a +5 weapon?
No, and it doesn't work like that in D&D anyway.
Yeah, I know.
I really don't know why it's doing that. Oh,
It says 5 to hit.
yeah, you definitely have a plus 5 to hit. I don't know why it's adding 5 again though. The damage, however, is at a plus 4, which is fine. Which means you have dealt 8 points of damage, and then you need to roll another d8 to represent your critical damage. So I just want to say to the folks at home, sorry that this isn't the most technically proficient stream I've ever done. Obviously our cameras are way lower quality because they're super small to make up for the amazing Kazdor art here. I don't even know what the audio sounds like right now. I'm doing a new experimental thing where I doubled the audio bit rate, so if it sounds horrible, I feel really bad that this is the first episode of this show. And I also completely changed my streaming layout, moved my couch, got a new chair. What do we got here? Another 5? Jeez. Okay, let me ask you a question, Kazdor. How do you murderify this dude when you hit him for like
How do you handle this, man?
13 points of damage?
As I tell you to handle
Right.
this.
So I'm worried about Mortrick, even though I have a begrudging dislike of him. I'm still worried about that. I saw that slash and he's blazing forward. Yeah. He dashes forward and brings the Warhammer back, makes a mighty arc and slams straight through his skull and it sort of goes through that, I guess, into his rib cage. and digs
it's
in there
gross.
with a squish, and he's got to like pull it back now, and that makes an additional squish.
Super gross.
I don't know. I'm sorry. That's all I got.
Grossest.
No, it's perfect.
Grossest. Perfect. It's everything we need.
Perfection.
Rick Jacks. The rest of your party is deeply engaged in combat as you wait with your hand crossbow, covering from every direction. What do you want to do?
Any indication from behind us?
What is your passive perception real quickly again? It's still a 10, right?
Yes, it's a 10.
All right. So you definitely hear noise coming from the south. You can't make it out, but from that champion's room, something is happening in there.
All right. Well, I think. Well, I don't know anything. All right. So for now, I'm going to come up 4. And then does that give me opportunity to shoot one of the halflings?
Yes, you can see both of them now.
Okay. So I'll shoot one of them. I'll shoot the one to Mortrix, I guess behind him to the east.
Okay.
And attack.
That dude is not looking at you, and he gets shot real bad. It's double adding everybody's stats on all these rolls. All right, so it's a 22, not a 25. But let me tell you something. A 22 is more than good enough. Mortrick is in base-to-base melee combat with this fellow if you would like to sneak attack.
I would. So this guy's still up?
Yes. So technically, in the future, just for reference, you have to declare sneak attack before you attack.
Okay. I'll try to remember that. And if I miss, then I don't get it. So it's
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not certain on that. I'll have to double check. But for now, if you want to throw a sneak attack, nothing could be more sneak attacky than showing up from out of a tunnel where someone doesn't know that you're at and shooting him in the back. Okay, he's dead. What does this look like? What does this shot look like? Like, talk to me about this hand crossbow. Are we talking? Yeah, are you just like leaning around a corner? Do you slide beneath Kazdor's leg? Hit him in the eye?
You took my thunder. I slid under. No, actually, I'm still behind Kazdor, but his legs are spread just slight enough that I could shoot right below his package, and I was aiming for the back, aiming for the back of the of the halfling.
You catch him right in the back of the heart. Mortrick, this dude that hit you with the sword, you like turn to face him, and suddenly he just like blood pours out his mouth. He's his scimitar clatters to the ground as he reaches up, puts his hand over his heart, and then drops to his knees in front of you.
Mortrick, you get a slight breeze under your undercarriage.
Kazdor gets it.
Kazdor, that's right.
Yep. You feel like something passed way closer than it should.
Let's not do that again. I know you're smaller than me, but
I think you're muted, Connor.
And then I think I still get more motion, right?
Yes. Yep. You can go your full movement.
All right. I'm gonna go back just to here again, just right here, again, just in case.
Okay. Mortrick, let's talk about you.
Right. So, having been grievously wounded. Wait, is that guy dead? He's still showing up on my screen.
Yeah, my bad. I haven't removed him yet.
Okay, so
He
it's
is
just the one in front of me.
very dead.
So, as I've spun to see who slashed me in the back, and then I just he explodes in a fountain of blood. So I just keep that spin going, and I'm gonna slash at the other dude.
Okay. Show me the power. Show me the power of your. Okay. Yep. That's a good roll. But do you have the damage to seal the deal? Can you go the distance?
Wait, do I have? No, that doesn't do any damage, though, does it? Alright. Do I?
Oh yeah, he's super dead. 100%.
Oh yeah.
Very dead.
So I'm just gonna slash him as I spin, I don't even care. As soon as he's down, then I'm pulling at my cape. Guys, is my cape cut? Is my cape okay?
Your cape is fine, but it is splattered with blood as you slash this guy.
Whew, you can always get stains out, but
It is tough slashing with a rapier too, especially in that leather armor. You have to two-hand it for a moment, and there's a sick ripping noise, as you destroy the leather armor in the process. Runa, we're still in combat.
We are.
You too hear the faint sounds echoing from the east, from the champion's room.
Do we feel like we're up for that room?
Oh, these doors? Are there doors in this room that we're in right now?
There are. There is a sort of like barred door to the north. That the bar is on your side, so it's locked and closed into there.
I'm gonna go to the
and there's
door.
another door to the south.
I'm gonna go to the door to the south and see if I can hear anything on the other side.
Make a perception check.
Yeah. Can I do the same with the top one?
Well, we're still in initiative.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Okay.
All right, so Runa, you go and you listen at the southern door. It's hard to hear anything with the blood pumping through your ears and everyone moving around you. Rickjax, the door next to you explodes outwardly with a great violence as goblins pour from the champion's room and begin cutting off your escape.
Here they come, goblins.
Well, we still have the other escape to the north, right? There's that door there.
You relocked it before leaving.
Not true, yeah.
Yeah, I locked it. I wasn't
Thanks,
sure.
more trick.
No, I think that's good. Cazador, you're in a good spot for defense too.
Yeah, that's
I mean, to be fair, we didn't know what was behind door number 2.
Everyone, get ready. They're coming. We don't have time for this.
Actually, sorry, I shouldn't be there. I should be here because that's where I hit the other guy. So
I haven't seen you move on my screen yet, so I think maybe you need to close roll 20 and reload it. I think you might be desynced slightly.
okay.
Yeah, we're still in initiative order, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the goblin's attacking Rickjack right now. The goblin attack on Rickjack begins. The other two are carrying short bows and are sliding down on the ground and firing them flatly at Rickjack's. And the one that's leading the attack has a scimitar out.
Oof.
So let me ask, what's your AC, Rickjack's?
AC is 14.
All right, scimitar attack first. No. Short bows.
I dodged.
Sorry, how much did you say it was?
It's 14.
14. So one of the arrows is going to hit. The one who goes north, like slides, and as he's sliding, fires the arrow off, and it's at such a crazy angle you'd never expect it to hit, and then it catches you on the cheek and pulls a little blood out.
Bloody hell.
6 plus 2. Yeah, it's super bloody because it's 7 points of damage.
I think that went through my cheek.
It is a significant cut. Kazdor, we're back with you.
All right.
That's a major blow, so whatever you can do to help me out.
How much hit points do you have, Rickjax?
I have 2 now.
Well, okay. Yeah, that is a major blow. You are seriously wounded.
I'm gonna move forward. I don't know how much movement I have for this, so I guess I'll find out.
5
I'm gonna
spaces.
Move forward. Okay.
As a
Yeah,
dwarf, you have...
Yeah.
so it should be 6 spaces then.
Oh, 6, sorry. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I've moved forward 1, 2, 3 there.
Yep.
I'm gonna grab Rick Jacks here and throw him behind me.
You up for that, Rickjax? Will you allow him to grab you?
Gingerly throw him, like I'm gonna toss him
Yep.
in a controlled fashion. Not
Very
gonna, like,
special him.
Yep, let it happen.
That's going to take the rest of your movement to pull that off.
so I can't move back a space.
No, you're locked in place here. Like picking him up is a significant economy of motion.
Sure. All right. Do I need to roll for athleticism to do that?
Nope. I mean, he's into it, so you just like yank him back by his collar and toss him past you.
They don't have an attack of opportunity.
Not for that. Not for involuntary motion.
Okay. All right.
So here's the deal, Cazador. You can hold your action here by saying, I will attack when X happens. And then when that happens, you'll use your reaction, which we haven't used yet. That's basically your attack of opportunity. So you could say, I will Warhammer someone when they move into melee with me. And then when that happens, you use your reaction, get an attack.
All right. That's the plan then.
Rickjax, you've been snatched back.
All right, got my the hand crossbow, and I'll shoot that lead goblin.
Okay. You crank, reload, fire. Are you? Oh, you can't sneak attack because you're not stealth, and there's no one in melee.
Correct. He's not close enough yet.
You don't fire until you see the whites of his. Well, all right. So that damage is still wrong, but 7 points of damage is still enough to knock out and/or kill a goblin. So this dude just slashed you. You get thrown behind Kazdor. You roll, come up, fire the crossbow. This dude is like running toward Kazdor. He's like, ah! And then right through the center of his forehead. The screaming continues, but the body crumples.
All right.
Anything else from Rick Jacks?
I can only do any motion, right? Movement,
Yes.
that's
Yep. Yes.
Okay. So I'm still going to give myself a little bit of room. So we'll back up 2 spots.
Can I just ask a question for rules for bonus actions? What does that mean? Like, when can you take those all the time, or
So they happen on your turn.
yeah?
And only certain bonus actions are available to certain classes. So like everybody has the bonus action dash, for instance, which lets you move twice at the use of your regular action. For fighters, eventually you'll get something like not just second wind, but I forget what it's called. Yikes. All right, I'll look it up real
Action
quick.
surge.
Action surge, which will allow you to do extra actions using your bonus action. So action surge for fighters lets you take a whole second action, which is
You can
very,
attack twice.
yes,
yeah.
it's very
We'll deal
good.
with it more when we get to a higher level.
Yeah.
Not much we can do right now except for dash.
Yeah, like monks and rogues are the ones that are going to have a lot of bonus actions to start with. Fighters to some extent. Bards will not have a lot of bonus actions outside of spells.
Okay. And does the I think does the character have Tunnel Fighter yet, or is that later down the line?
That's level 3.
Yeah, you,
Alright, I bet.
so you have some experience with it, but you aren't able to use it yet.
Okay, cool.
Or like, I think we established that Kazdor once was a great fighter and then has like lost his edge
Yeah.
over
he's
time,
lost
and he
his edge.
needs to like re-experience the darkness of combat or something super edgy.
It's performance anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of someone who doesn't have performance anxiety, let's talk to Mortrick, who perhaps we wish would stop performing.
Right? Could you perform less as a bard?
So I'm gonna run up to the tunnel here, seeing what's coming. So I'm gonna yell out to Kazdor, Kazdor, he's our man. If he can't do it, no one can. And give him Bardic Inspiration.
Excellent. All right,
So as much as it's an inspiration, it's more like oh god, I need him to stop. And so that's my incentive to like push forward here.
it's magical though.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you tell him what he gets. Nick.
So you get a 1d6 for 10 minutes that you can add to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. And you can roll after seeing the roll, but before knowing the result.
So you can say, oh, I think this attack might hit if I get an extra d6 rolled on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm gonna do it. Okay. All right, Mortrick, you psych up Kazdor, more
And
like
then
you're a
I'm going
side
to
psych.
Kind of hide in this corner.
Okay. Do you want to actually make a hiding check? Stealth? Or you just want to wait there?
I just want to wait there.
All right. I was gonna say you're definitely not hidden from Runa. Speaking of Runa, you see Mortrick like press himself up against the wall and like look around and occasionally shouts words of encouragement to Kazdor. What do you want to do?
You're looking at me and I say, shh.
I'm going to use my full movement to get right behind Rick Jacks and then toss him a little bit further.
Interesting. So you're gonna move him to the other side of you?
Yeah.
All right, Rick
Are
Jacks.
we playing past the halfling? I was great at that game.
He's a deep no.
Whatever. No halfling. You're all just short people.
Man,
Kazdor loses his.
You're making it really hard to like.
he definitely didn't go to a liberal arts college. That's for sure.
He's definitely chaotic something.
All right, Kazdor, your readied action will go off as this goblin tries to dash around the corner past you to make room for his buddy.
Okay. Can they both attack me from there, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
From around the corner. Yes.
Okay.
So they're like going shoulder to shoulder with you, trying to force you back down the tunnel.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to attack him, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, let me do that then. I have to get out my character because it closed when I refreshed.
We even have battle music now. I didn't have this last time we played. I know. All right. I'll figure out what's doing that wrong sometime later, but that's a 22 to hit with 8 points of damage. So as this guy is going past you, you swing in the motion that he's going, and you manage to toss him down the corridor, and you hear a sick cracking noise as his back breaks in the process. You've just eliminated this dude super badly. The remaining goblin.
I shout out 2.
It only counts as 1.
The remaining goblin backpedals in the other direction, having suddenly lost both of his compatriots. Kazdor.
Okay. Does Kazdor get opportunity attack?
So, in order to opportunity attack, you have to use a reaction, and he used it in order to use his held action.
Understood. Okay, cool.
His reaction is now back now that he has another turn.
Okay. And everyone else is behind. All right. I'm going to chase after him.
Okay? As
Okay.
you do,
Gonna go
you
over
see
here. I
a
guess I can see here. Yeah.
defiled champion's room. Blood is scrawled along the walls. Feces is strewn across the floors. Many of the runes have been carved out and defaced intentionally. The only thing that remains pristine is a giant elephant carved into the ceiling with incredible detail. The goblin is running away from you, paying little attention, scrambling as best it can towards the door on the southern end of the room.
Okay.
That's a dwarven throwing axe, right?
I have a light crossbow. I can still move 1 extra square and
Yes,
actually,
you can physically attack him. I think you can move more than one. 1, 2.
Yeah, I can move.
4. Yeah, you got 2 more spaces to move. You can easily move up to this guy and wreck him.
And so my character's pretty angry at like all this grubby filth that's like, blaspheming his like the ancient temples of the dwarves. So yeah, I'm going forward and attacking.
Hold it to mine.
To mine. Yeah.
It's a tomb. And that damage is correct. Yeah. Tell me how you murderize this goblin. He's super dead. You're like almost double deaded him.
Oh, even with the 6 hit?
Yeah, 16 to hit is more than good. Oh, right. It's adding too many.
It's adding 2. So
You're
rolled a
right.
6.
Yeah.
6 was 5, so 11.
Yeah. All right. So look, this would have been a beautiful murdering hit if this had connected, but the goblin scrambling spreads his legs at the last second and you chop between it.
But I can't use my bardic inspiration.
Ah, yes you can.
Ah.
Would you like to add a d6? Tell me more.
You already told me the results.
That's
so-
okay. I'm 100% with it.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
do
I'm
it.
gonna use it there.
Yep.
And so, inspired by the bardic inspiration and the hate of all this grubby filth, around the den of dwarves, I smash his, do another overhead, and smash his skull back in, down his spine.
Look, if this is my other game, my other D&D game, if players watch this show, they're going to be like, Arthur, what are you doing letting people pick people up and move them around and stuff? You don't let us do that. That's because this game is less about exact rules and more about having fun and drawing some good art.
Yeah.
I'll 100% let you do this. Let me see the D6, and we'll see if that is enough in the bardic inspiration. The correct answer is... no. Thoughts of Mortrick cloud your mind, and as you go for a second
Stupid
strike,
song.
It is not enough. Rick Jacks.
I swing wide and like hit the ground, I guess.
Mortrick, cower in the other room, feels the inspiration used unwisely and just shakes his head in shame.
What do you got for me, Rick Jacks?
We're in combat, so I guess I'll try. So it looks like I can only move then. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'll move to there.
Okay. More trick.
We're moving that way.
You know, what I have heard is that your party appreciates when you keep the combo chain alive when going for XP. Open every door that you can. See if you can, you know, someone has to bring the creatures back to the party, right?
Right, exactly. This door up here has bars on it, right?
That's correct. It is locked from your side.
Locked from our side. Okay, so seeing them go that way, I'm just gonna move up to this door quietly and try to hear what's behind it.
All right, make a perception check. Call this pulling a Runa.
Depends how it goes.
You're gonna roll a 1.
It's not bad.
There is a sound of rushing wind and occasionally metal on metal coming from the south.
All right, so then I can still see Runa. I'm gonna turn to her and just say, "Look, you know, let's go your way," and then I'm gonna move back one.
Runa.
I'll move, yeah. Actually, I'll dash into the room.
Interesting. Let's make an athletics check to jump over the goblin.
Yeah, let's do that. My athletics is 2. Ugh. My love 9s today, I guess.
You still make the jump over the goblin, but he's going to take an attack on you in the process. Yeah, I know it sucks, doesn't it? Man, who doesn't like being attacked? Am I right? Am I right? Ooh, wow. Yeah, that'll 100% hit. I mean, that's a 20. As you jump over, the goblin turns as Kazdor has been trying to slash it. He tries to slash Kazdor, and you like leap over Kazdor and take the attack in his stead. Your belly is slashed by this cruel goblin scimitar for 6 points of damage, and you come out of a roll tucked behind the goblin, who is now super confused as to why a flying half-orcish Genasi cannonball has arrived behind it.
Should've just kicked him on my way through.
So yeah, well, that's the Runa maneuver from now on.
Oh boy, we
There you
got a
go.
name for it.
Well, I mean, all of you are short, so
Yeah, you can just jump over everybody.
yeah, y'all are short, so I can just jump over all of you.
What is
tall?
what's your AC, Runa?
Person. What did I say? I might have said I was tall for a person.
I think you said
I'm the kind of person that adds
slightly
to my
too
height.
tall is what you said. Slightly too skinny.
Yeah,
Or
exactly.
Those height shoes that give you like
Yeah, I've
extra
got platform
3 inches.
shoes on for sure.
I've got the Michael Jackson shoes, so you can lean forward at really odd angles. Runa, what's your AC?
15.
All right, yeah, this goblin goes to attack you, and it's a total whiff. You just keep bashing the sword out of the way. Kazdor, would you like to use your reaction as the goblin scrambles past Runa?
Oh, absolutely.
As it turns its back on you, it is not paying attention. Oh, wait. I apologize. Goblins can take a bonus action in order to disengage, which means this guy can move his remaining movement and not give a crap about your extra attacks.
Nice.
Yeah.
He quickly flips open the door to the next room and scrambles a distance into it that you can see. The hallways continue. In this room, however, and this hallway, it should be said, the room is not defaced like the Champions Hall has been. It returns to being these beautiful dwarven carved runes. Kazdor.
All right. Okay, light crossbow, or should I run forward and 1, 2, 3?
Crossbow.
Crossbow? Yeah. That's your vote?
That's because Runa wants to get into melee in case you fail.
Yeah.
I don't feel like jumping over anybody else today.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. I mean, I guess I should get full move forward just so that, you know, you're not in the shot.
Of course.
All right, you move forward. Are you like dropping your warhammer along the way and pulling out your crossbow and cocking it?
Can I sheath it, or?
Yeah, as you move. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to drop it like on the ground.
Pull out your crossbow. You stop for a moment, drop to a knee.
It's a preloaded crossbow, I guess, because otherwise.
Oh no!
I shouldn't say that.
So look, here's the thing about crossbows: when you leave them loaded for a super long time, it destroys the mechanisms inside of it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Don't worry about it. That's in real life. Look, I know fictionally it's a super love thing where everybody's like, I've got a preloaded crossbow, but like that string, all of the spring mechanics is not meant to be loaded ahead of time.
Yeah, I could see that. It's
all
just
right.
like it does take a half.
It's all right. Yeah.
Like 2 minutes to load up crossbow. So
no. So these crossbows, all D&D crossbows take full action, so they only take 6 seconds to load. I know, it's super weird. That's
so
D&D
fire
for
and
Yep.
and reload at the same
Yep.
time. Oh wow. Okay.
So you can only take one attack, which is very significant for fighters, because at some point fighters get multiple attacks when they use the attack action. But with a crossbow, they would only still be capable of making one of those attacks, because crossbows, except for hand crossbows, they all have the tag that you can only make one attack around.
Okay. All right.
Yep, you get it cranked up, or maybe it's preloaded, one of the two. You're good to go.
Bit of cranking it.
You hear that nice twanging noise as you fire it.
You named Rick Jacks.
It's like a deep thrum. Oh wow, nope. So as you come to the knee, you fire the crossbow bolt, and the goblin like briefly scrambles to the side as its leg is hurt. And in the process, the bolt goes to the right instead of hitting it, and the goblin just looks at its foot that's been injured, and he's just like, and keeps skittering down the hallway like a spider. Rick checks.
All right. Well, before I move, am I able to shoot through squares that other players are in? Okay.
So each of the squares is 5 feet, so there's plenty of space around people to fire.
All right. Forward 2, take a shot in his back.
What's the range on
Sniper
crossbows and
shot.
stuff like that?
No, it's a good call. Thank you. It's 30 is the regular range. So it
You need one more step forward in order to
Step
stay
forward.
in that range. Yep,
okay.
perfectly fine.
Sorry.
You walk
That's
up to
what
the flung open door.
Okay.
I feel like the door probably like now that dozens of people are going in and out, it kind of 18. Is that right? Oh no, you gotta take 5 away from it.
Take the 5 off. Yeah.
Yep. All right, 13. You go to fire again. This goblin, just pure luck. This time his right foot hurts, and he like drops to one knee, and the crossbow bolt sails over him.
Wow. Okay. There we go.
So
More
how
trick.
far does it go down the hallway?
You don't see where it stops.
Okay.
It goes farther than you guys can see.
Can we hear it clang?
Oh yeah, you definitely hear it slam into something.
You also hear him laugh
So it
maniacally.
hits something instead of just hitting the floor.
Yes, it definitely hits something.
Okay.
Sugar-duga-duga.
More
Oh
trick.
crap. How do I escape? Oh, sweet God. Can we move diagonally?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just not like around corners.
Right.
You're pretty far away.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take like my first batch of movement, kind of slowly waiting to see if something comes out of that door. And then when I see that nothing has come out of that door,
You keep looking back, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You're gonna take a dash?
Then I'm gonna dash to catch up.
All right,
When
Runa.
I get up to Rick
How are,
Jackson,
you, how are you getting that measurement thing?
So you have to press Q every place that you stop. So
you
it should
said
be
it
noted
before.
you don't have to do it every location, only in places where you're changing direction. I wonder if I can do it with the goblin and show you guys real quick. So like here, here, here. I don't know if this is going to stop him in each location, but probably it should show him sliding around the room smoothly. Maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Kazdor just did it. Yeah, you don't have to do every square. You only have to do places where you stop and move. All right, Runa, charging forward. Mixed martial arts. This goblin has evaded a lot of threats.
I'm gonna Superman punch him.
No, I mean you.
Wouldn't you try and grapple? Like, wouldn't that make more sense at this point?
Oh no, he said the secret word. No.
Sorry.
Grappling is a feat in 5e. You can grab people though.
12 to attack.
No.
Damn it.
His goblin is greased lightning.
Yeah, he's doing really good.
I'll move over one.
Robbie scum.
He will disengage as a bonus action. Swing open this door. You hear him calling out in Goblin. I don't expect anyone here speaks Goblin.
No.
I speak Undercommon. Is that different?
It is different.
Okay.
So Undercommon is literally common, but for like drow, dwarves, mushroom people. Probably if a goblin lived underground for a long time, they would learn Undercommon. You know, just locally for the language. Kazdor, this goblin has dashed around, flung open another door, and is screaming loudly in Goblin. Horrendous shrieking noises.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, this is normal goblin behavior.
Yeah, he's not. Guys, I'm not surprised. All right, maybe we should regroup and rethink before we just charge right off into this another unknown room.
Rena teleports behind him, grabs him by the throat. Nothing personal, kid.
Yeah, if I could, I would.
So are you suggesting the party cut off pursuit then? That's your plan?
That is my plan. Yes,
Okay.
that's what I think I'm going to say. I would say that, and then everyone would have to agree, or how does that work?
I mean, if you guys want to stop chasing him and collectively agree, like, we're not going to keep chasing him.
Something's definitely gonna come down from the area that he's running to, so I think we should go somewhere else.
Right after Cazador has made that suggestion, be like, I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah. So we've got the one door on the left, and then we've got two doors in here that we don't know where they go.
So Rick Jacks, you're also good with cutting off Chase?
I will go with the party, yep.
Okay, all right. The goblin disappears off in the distance. After a few moments, the screaming begins to lessen. You all are left slightly winded, adrenaline pumping through your veins, and blood everywhere.
Does anyone need help?
You.
Well, besides me, I'm fine.
Well, if you had a heal spell.
Well, what's wrong? Like, who got slashed in the belly?
Yeah, we need to bandage up. Do we have
Runa
bandages?
and Rick Jacks have both taken very serious wounds.
All right, so I go up to Runa first, and I'm going to use my cantrip Mending just to make her armor look good. But like, there you go. That's what I got.
That takes 10 minutes. And you have to hold your hand on her belly the whole time.
I don't. No, that's too close for me.
Especially for a dog killer.
1 minute for a touch.
All right, I don't have any bandages, I guess. So
I'm trying to think. I'm looking at my equipment.
Oh, is it only 1 minute? I thought it was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, it might be 1 minute, but it sounds like Runa is not into this.
No.
anyway, sorry, I've been going a little bit slow on this drawing. I'm trying to figure out where, like, what to do with the positioning and all that.
I don't think you're going slow, man.
It's a little bit.
You want me to show you a stick figure that I drew? It took me 2 hours. I have a portfolio. I'll send you a picture later in the week. It is horrible. I take most of my works, I rip them out of the portfolio, and then I set them on fire.
Can I roll a medicine check?
Can you roll a medicine check? What are you trying to do?
Bandage myself. See if I can.
So you won't be able to recover any hit points in that way. If you want to just like, yeah, you don't even need to roll medicine check. If you just want to like put some wraps around you,
Yeah.
keep you from getting any infections, tetanus,
Yeah.
strep, staphylococcus.
Also tell Cazador to keep an eye on the door to make sure nothing comes after us while we're.
The front door. All right. Are we gonna be inspecting? Can I do a perception on the other two doors?
So let me be clear. What doors are you closing first? the south door, the north door? Kind of.
South door, right? That's what.
I want the north, the west, and the east to be closed. I'm gonna leave the door that the goblin ran through open until we see something.
All right. So you want to close? You want to leave that tower open, and I'm looking down that hall, watching out for any potential threats.
Yeah.
All right. So I guess I'm going to keep a standing perception check down that hall. Is that how that would work?
All right. So Rick Jacks, let's have you come into the room here. I think because it sounds like they're closing that door.
Well, I have one suggestion before we close the door, because in that room to the west, there was the barred door locked from our side that goes north.
Yeah,
So we've never looked in there. Could be a prison or something else. Because it's locked from our side.
We should check out that whole space too, I guess.
At least the north door.
Okay.
So
That's what you want to do. Go for it, and then after you get back, and close the door.
see what he go
I'm on
alone.
board with that plan.
If he goes alone, then he's injured. What if there's something in there?
Well,
No, I'll go with him.
he's also very injured.
I mean, you guys are all taking some damage.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
should stand guard just in case something like a troll comes down this way.
I feel like 2/3 fine, guys. I'm 2/3 okay.
Okay.
Someone who's keenly aware of his own hit points in character. Rick Jacks, you are popping open this particular room.
Let me do my investigation to see what I can find.
Okay.
Can I assist him?
Yes, and by doing that, he'll get advantage on the roll. Well, let me ask, do you have investigation proficiency?
Yes.
Then yes. So he'll get the better of his 2 d20 dice.
Okay.
The two of you, put your hands together. Put your minds together. You Sherlock Holmes. 24? Really? Holy shit. Without even opening the door, it's not that you have a huge amount of experience with like
Opening doors.
secret dwarven fortress architecture, right? But it's occurring to you based on rumors that you've had with dwarves and the way that this door is shaped, the way the room that you're in is shaped, and your knowledge of what the room that you're in is. This other door is probably not like a prison. It's like a hot box where you would stick squatties, like younger members and new people, if you needed them to cool off for a little while. It's also like a little bit of a privacy room.
Oh, thank God. I could really get away from those other guys. I mean, just non-stop. Yap.
It is clear to you, based on your investigation, how to open the door in front of you very easily.
All right, what do you think?
We gonna check it out, or are we gonna? I mean,
group consensus
think
here.
about this best case scenario. There's a cave troll in there.
You're not with the group. You got to make that decision on
It's the
both
two of you.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a cave troll in there who is pissed that he's in there, so we let him out, and he's instantly like, "Guys, I love you. You let me out. Let me help you." Worst case scenario, it's empty.
All right. As much as I'm dying to open the door, I think we should go back.
You
Okay.
sure?
You know,
Are you sure?
if you want to open the door, open the door. I'll back up. I'll back you up on it.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna open the door.
This is the beginning of a buddy cop.
All right. So I'm going to back up right
That's
here.
how all good D&D groups die.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to try and open it ever so. What? Can I look at the hinges? What do the hinges look like?
All of the hinges in here are made of like gold foiled steel.
So they look like they're in pretty good condition.
Oh yeah, everything in this particular room is in excellent condition.
Okay. So
As you slide the iron bars out of the way and you begin creaking open the room, inside there are a few skeletons with very dry bones. You know, there's no like flesh lying around anywhere. They've been dead for a super long time. A cockroach skitters out, but what
Oh my
becomes...
God, cave troll! And I stomp on it.
There is a crunching noise as you stomp on it.
Yes! Two
What
for
the-
two.
What perhaps immediately grabs your attention is that all of the skeletons have 2 silver pieces in their eye sockets, and there are 7 corpses.
I'm gonna
Back
wave
off.
Riffjacks back over, show him what's inside, and I'm going to investigate, but I'm not gonna mess with the silver pieces in the eye sockets.
Really?
Yeah, that's surprising to me as well. Rick Jacks, he calls you over. What do you want to do?
Dude, I think we shouldn't go in the room just yet. We know enough to let it be for a little bit.
Yeah, but they're dead. I mean, what if there's a potion in there? Then they wouldn't be dead. Maybe they're too stupid to use a potion. I don't know. Okay, I agree. Let's go
There's
back.
definitely no potion in there. Like, there's just skeletal bones scattered across the ground.
All right, I'm going to shut and rebar the door then,
Okay.
and then head back.
All right. As the party reconnoiters, Kazdor standing resolute, Runa checking the door. This is where we will stop for the evening.
Yeah.
So you guys
We didn't
earned
die
some
yet.
experience points. Yeah. Sure, you didn't die yet. You're just mostly dead.
Mostly dead, yeah. Dead on the inside.
Okay. Let me see what
Can
those.
we short rest and use our hit dice?
We should do that at the beginning of the next session
Okay.
because I'll need to figure out if anything shows up and tries to murder you in that time.
Yep, because
So
a
I
short
definitely
rest
feel
is
like we should do it now before you try to come up with something to murder us.
Well, then I'll definitely 100% have something to murder.
Because a short rest is still about an hour.
Yeah, it's like it's a significant chunk of time. All right,
Yeah.
so the good news is that
In
each
which
of
to
you
get murdered.
earns 58 experience points for this session.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Am I second level yet? Just kidding.
I think you're like 1/6 of the way there. It's like 300 points to the second level.
How much
Something
was
like
it again?
that.
56, you said?
57.
58.
58. Yes. 57.25. So I'm just going to go ahead and round up.
Yeah.
All right, we got Kazdor. He's got like a cloak clasp and all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah. I was working on that post for a bit there.
Wait. How much XP did we get?
58.
58.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's got. It's funny, your icon that you gave me ended up being pretty similar to what the drawing was.
I know.
So, yeah. Then I also
Sometimes
have
that happens.
sort of another sketch one that I kind of liked down here.